We gotta find. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome. I'm in a little late today. Oh, Simon, you might even be able to get in early tonight. That's good. Oh, excuse me. I'll have to reach out to the other guy too. What was his name? I know he was in the Discord for a while. But anyways, got running a little late. The kids needed to go shopping for a birthday present. Sea Lights. Yeah, I'm sure he'll let me know how it's pronounced. We all know I don't pronounce names. I just say things. Say crazy things. So if you weren't aware, last stream we hit 200 subs. And now I've reset the clock or reset the bar. And my next goal is just we're going to go straight to 500. I have a feeling we can get to this by the end of the year. So we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep having fun and see where this takes us. And I'm pretty happy, I'll tell you. I didn't even think like I would get any of the subs that I've gotten today. I figured I'd be like a little one sub guy hanging out, just talking to myself while I while I played games and talked about these things. Let me make sure this game is not too loud when we get the video going. Oh, Furry is in the chat, so let me get him in too. He didn't have much to say on this video, so we'll see. What's going on, Furry? Hello, hello.
Uh, hello.
What's going on? Did you just wake up? What's going on there?
No, I just got finished eating and I'm full now.
Oh, that's not the right one. I eat kind of
So
weird.
a debate is happening, and we're finishing the
It's
EGAG
gonna
video.
be you are a one sub guy. Italian, extra meat and bacon added. Damaged. I'm coming for you, bud. I'm gonna get Kimoji to start like timing you out, buddy. It's good to see you, damaged. They're debating. So one of the guys is a Leaflet fan, and then Simon's going to come on. I guess they've been arguing. Unfortunately, I hadn't looked at the tweets
I
until
know
recently.
what this is about.
What is it about?
I've seen it.
Get me up to date.
Okay, so Leaflet made this little program, which in my opinion sucks. And Whitney Ho can back me up on this because we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
This whole program about like with VTubers and stuff. I don't know the specific details, but all I know is that there was this one VTuber named Neurosama. It was like there was
Urasama.
it's a human avatar, but it is controlled. I think controlled with AI. They have an AI voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it one of those channels? Do we hold on? If there's a video on it, I need to bring it up.
It has a channel.
Yeah, let me go.
It's
Simon,
Neuro
can
like
you send me a link to this neuro channel that he's talking about? Because I want to take a
it's
listen.
it's Neuro like neurotypical. I
Yeah,
had to make the joke. I had to make it.
of course, of course.
Neurosama.
Neuro
Sama, like Osama. Not. I'm
Sam.
just trying to say the Japanese thing, not the Osama bin Laden shit. Cause
Oh, is it this little person that usually has like a turtle on their head?
wait, let me see.
Hold on. I don't know if this is. Yeah, it's this little person. Hold on, let me bring it. Can you see it now? You should be able to see it in our
I
Discord.
no, I do not see it. The thing is not. The thing is doing this. It's doing that thing again.
No, I mean, I can see it in the Discord playing, so it's got to be something on your end.
Usually it you. I don't know what's happening right now.
She's an
I don't know if I had
AI
to wait for a
VTuber,
while.
but she's a whole group of people behind her creation as well as an actual artist. Gotcha.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. But for some, like Winnie Ho said, like it started being sentient.
Sentient? I doubt that. Webmaster Vadal is the coder. Vadal is the little turtle, right? He's the guy who's usually sitting on her head talking. Uh, Happy Friday. That's right. Happy
Like
Friday.
if it was a, but like it was like TTS, then maybe, but it's the whole, and it's a little girl too.
Hmm.
So
Check DMs. Gotcha. Let's open this up. Well, that's not DMs. There we go. Neurosama Chronicles. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, there's Neurosama and then there's the Neurosama Chronicles. I guess they're two different.
okay,
Neurosama has
I
900K and Neurosama Chronicles. Is this a different channel? Just another drone in Neurosama's swarm. Assembling clips of her with a shared theme to create entertaining storylines. Don't take them serious. If you watch her stream long enough, you can probably catch her say the opposite of most of these
nope, that is
clips.
a fan. Nope, I
That's
just
a
saw it. That
fan
is a
one. Yeah,
fan channel.
gotcha.
The Neurosama is the real one.
Neurosama is the real one. What is the most recent video? So Leaflits. What's going on with Leaflit in this? Let me. The guy who's coming on, I went to go look at your tweets earlier, but the guy who is coming on, I don't know if he deleted them, but they're no longer available for viewing. So
Wait. Hold the fuck up. What?
yeah,
Wait. Please tell me. Fuck, I forgot his name. Something VT. The guy that Simon is debating.
yeah.
Did Did you just say that this guy deleted his tweets?
I don't know if they're deleted. I might be wrong because uh, I'm an old man when it comes to the internet. Sometimes it says his posts are unavailable.
Oh yeah, that whole thing started because Leaflet had. I'm just gonna find the tweet and send it to you.
Yeah, yeah, send it to me so we can catch up. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to look it up before stream. I guess that makes me more impartial. The one you're on is the real one. Okay. You decided to try him, but the realistic is they won't since the crime wasn't committed under their jurisdiction. Let's see what's going on here. Boop. He's not wrong though, even though he's not really in a position to talk. I think. Oh, I remember this tweet. Yeah, posts are unavailable. I don't understand why they're unavailable. I'm gonna reach out to him here. We got some investigation to do while we wait. No. Cancel. I want to go in here. Da, da. Oh, posting in general. Thank you, Grounded. Let's see. Where is this homeboy at? Where he at, yo? There he is. There he is. Happy to hell. Yes, yes. Hey, anything to spread that word. We have to shill. We got to up the shilling. Hold on, I'm messaging him now. Maybe we'll
New
see.
tip 10 from HCLI.
Yes, thank you. What the fuck happened? Why isn't it doing TTS again? Hold on. I got you. I'm gonna at least read it out. Come here. Thank you for the 10. Thank you so much. I don't know why it's not playing the TTS, even though I have it set up for it. Your page is live at 6. Nice. Oh, it's just HCL. That's probably why it didn't play it. You didn't write anything. Thank you, HCLI. I appreciate the $10. All right. we'll see if we get a message back from him. While we're doing that, we'll probably jump onto EGAD's video and
I am trying to find this goddamn thing.
go from there. Boom. I didn't TTS anything. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it either way. I just had it. Who is it? Leslie, I forget her name, comes on and she found out I had pigs, so she tipped me $5 with a TTS, and it didn't pop up. So I've tested it. It should work, and we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if he deleted them. They're definitely unavailable. Oh no, here they are. Well, here it is. Why do I have to click on it? Man, this QTR is a fire response. If I didn't see you actively defending that terrorist defending retard, let's see here. Can I read this one? Nope. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see if we hear anything back. But as of right now, I am not able to view the tweets. And I don't know if anyone else
Unless
is
it's
either.
because usually when they do when that happens, usually the you have to like press on the post because usually it's like a quote tweet. It was like too inappropriate for some shit
Yeah.
for some dumbass reason. But I don't know what's happening here. Also,
Yeah.
I think I may have found it. Check the DMs.
Hold on.
It's a quote tweet replying to Simon.
Hold on 1 second.
God, I hate Twitter's new update.
I mean, I hate Twitter, but here we are. Okay, so this is the leaflet one. Boop.
Well,
So
one
hold
of
on.
them.
Yeah. So hold on. You're telling me an artist can create things that help with AI tubing, but a VTuber cannot create things with the help of AI art. I see what she's saying. Yeah, and generate a shitty AI slot model instead of getting a real artist slash rigger. Yeah, dude, Neurosama being made by drawn and rigged by a real person is kind of the whole point of the argument. Leaflet is closest to be the, I don't know, Queeble Cop of YouTubing. Then she is the next Beetle with her jackass AI VTuber generation. Then we got, thank you for showing me you in fact can't read. When did the AI guy come in? Yeah, I mean, there's all these other people. Seriously. Which part did I not read? Yeah, but these still aren't his. I wonder why his aren't showing, because he says they should be showing. Like this one I can click on. This one right here I can click on and see it. Let's go over to his side. Maybe it's because I'm not following him. Would that be it? Following you now, buddy. I'm following you now, buddy. And then let's go back.
Even when you follow people, it sometimes still does the same thing.
Yeah. I'm just not sure what it's doing.
Unless like they either the post is unavailable. Because okay, so something is going on. Either Twitter's fucking up or they removed those posts because it's either or.
Twitter is weird sometimes, so it could be because they got flagged for whatever reason. Possibly. Fucking the whole new AI shit that they've come up with is garbage.
And that's why AI is a bunch of bullshit. And these people say, "Oh, but AI, oh, it's so great. It's gonna get rid of the left wokies. They are
Well,
seething. They are mad. They are crying." And then you have shit like this, and you wonder why we are the way we are because it
well,
sucks dick.
maybe we'll get more into it. There's a lot of things to talk about when the AI, but they may not even directly be talking about that necessarily. Let's see.
Oh, and I also Leaflet accused Simon of like deleting shit when she was confronting him, and it was the same goddamn post that he made that she screenshot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying this bitch is crazy.
Is
That one
this
right
the one
there.
who's gonna come on? Oh, which one? This one?
No, the one that was at the post right there. This one. There's another tweet she did. Scroll down a bit. It's the no on her tweet.
Hold on. Let me go back to wherever that was. Oh, nope. Let's go Simon. It's funny how Leaflet is seizing the means of VTuber production. Simon.
And it's like sure VTubers do spend a lot. I will not they will charge a shit ton. I will not deny that. But they're cheap, but there's some cheap for like $100
Yeah,
that
I
you can
mean,
customize yourself. And it's like not only that, but when you do AI, it is so noticeable. It's just it is not pleasing to the eye.
yeah. I think there's a bit of like sameness when it comes to AI in general, and it just ends up looking soulless. Like I don't see
Yeah,
anything
exactly.
like great out of
I
it.
don't care
Oh,
how
hold on.
pretty it
I'm gonna
is.
have to go
If
here.
it doesn't have any human emotions, then
Yeah,
it just looks like a shell. It looks like a
yeah.
shell.
All right, all
That
right.
is why I'm against it because AI can't feel for shit.
Yeah. Well, I
It
mean,
can't feel, it can't touch, it can't taste. It certainly cannot understand how to how to do shit, and it
yeah.
knows how to make things from existing products.
Uh-oh, Leaflet's saying you're deleting posts. Is that true, Simon? The only thing
That's the
about
one.
Neurosama that is AI is the fact that she's a chatbot, which chatbots aren't the new concept and have been around long before the generative AI. So is Neurosama, is she a chatbot or is she an LLM? Because they're two different things, right?
I, I don't know
That's what I'm about to look up.
who that person was until these two were
I already
like
did check
added.
DMs. That's the
So
one you just showed me. That's the very next tweet. That's the tweet right there, right here in front of us. Oh, it's not up. That's why. That's why. It's right here. Leaflet did clarify afterwards. Deleting what exactly, Leaflet? Are you having an early senior moment? They equals AI antists, not Simon. Oh, and it's side cucked and culture war thing. Got it. Thanks for the clarification. But here's another question for you. Are they in the room with us? Context. There's more like this. Nero is different and creative. Let's see here. Is Nero, was it Sama, a chat bot? Oh no, we're not doing this on fucking. Yeah, she's an LLM. She's not. I mean, she's a chat bot, of course, but she's an AI powered LLM, so large language model. So technically, they're both right, but what Leaflet said. What did she say? I don't think this is the own you think it is. He really doesn't know, huh? I guess she's trying to say AI Velda made her himself. Yeah, yeah, it's like his own personal LLM, right? She's not anywhere else. She's not on anyone else's. Though I guess she is. From what I can tell, Velda gives the local AI Nero permission on the fly during stream. Like if Velda wants Nero to find something on Google, Velda will give Nero access to Google. Gotcha. So, it's like
Found it.
it's
I
not the full
found it.
thing.
I found it.
Okay. YouTuber, singer, and chatbot was created by the Swedish programmer Velda and live streams on Twitch and Billy's channel. Her speech and personality are powered by a large language model that is combined with a computer animated avatar and a text to speech voice, allowing her to communicate with viewers in the stream chat. Nero Sama debuted online content history reception. Yep, I remember during a subathon she went from thanking her fans to waxing philosophical about how we are all specks of dust who get meaning from connection we make. Original artist. She won the best, or she was nominated for the best VTuber award, and then she won it in 2023 and 2024. AI Sponge, a Twitch AI generated live stream. I don't care about a AI SpongeBob. Tech Radar. So it's not the same thing as a giant LLM that is withholding all of the information. He lets the model go and do what he wants it to do. He has another one called Nero Evil, who has a filter so complex it slows her down. Interesting. Because she is always trying to swear or something. That's hilarious. Well, it makes you wonder how. Here we go. Let's see what this is. How much of it is a chatbot that he's swaying, and how much of it is a actual LLM, right? It could be doing some of its own things, but if he's the one that programmed the stuff into it, it may not be like Chat GPT, right? It's more controlled so he can guide it in the direction he wants it to go versus just letting it run free. I'm making a program between the PNG tubing and live tube. It's called Adventure. You can make a model in less than 30 minutes and add new emotes in less
and
than
your
5.
emotive state. And what it does is,
I mean, she
Just
calls
look.
being startled.
Look at the shit. Look at the shit.
hey, what's up, guys? Leaflet here. I'm making a new VTuber system that is between PNG
See, you could
tubing
just
Jesus
tell.
Christ, that's terrible.
and live
That's
TV.
what I'm saying.
What it
You could
is
just
it's
tell
a
how
tracked
sick it
model.
looks.
Well, it's got like
And people would think,
4. It's
oh,
the
that's
same
a
thing that
masterpiece.
serves a very similar purpose with LLMs doing more than your typical chatbots. Gotcha.
That only has specific states that captures your voice and your emotive state. And what it does is it allows you to be
and a
more
model with a
expressive
looping
as a
and
PNG tuber,
quote unquote
and also allows
VTuber
you to do
model.
really, really cool emotes and do them really, really, really fast. So a little bit of context. I can make these models in under an hour, including a bunch of
Why
emotes
is
with
she
them.
always
And
pausing when she
anyone
speaks?
can do it once we have the system set up. So the
Dude,
system goes like straight from
You really have to ask.
concept.
The bitch
Dude,
is
this
fat.
thing needs
She
a
is a bad.
ton of work. It is pretty bad right now. I mean, I get the concept, right? My pig just talks. He doesn't show any emotion or anything like that. But I don't think this AI version is it.
It has all of the tools like to key everything and to set up everything and to
I can see
Like,
it.
how is
I can
it
see it when the
choosing?
face is.
Like you're telling me she wrote a program that does the facial recognition feature so that when you smile it sees you smile. I mean, it's obviously like she'll blink and it catches just one eye or
support everything. The system also uses it doesn't use GIFs. You can use GIFs, but we don't have it set up. We don't use GIFs because they're too heavy, like they're way too big, and GIFs blow up people's computers. They're just they're too taxing on computers. So this is a completely different system.
Dude, that arm fucking blurring in and out. It's out now, by the way, though from what I've seen, there's not much difference from the original. Yeah, I can't stand listening to her speak. It is so annoying.
That we have here.
Oh, you think it's
Anyway,
bad? You think that?
so
You think
as you
her
can see, it does
talking
measure
is
like my
bad
emotive
now?
state. So
Huh?
You think this is bad? There's a video up. There was a video of her in the past. Well, I'm going to assume it was in the past of supposedly her with this high voice. Ugh.
VTuber
Let me pull it up.
voice.
so
Yeah, let me pull it up. Let me find it.
if I smile, you can see that it will.
Dude, look at it jump when she smiled. Like it's. Does she
This is a
think
completely
this is
different
good?
system that we have here. Anyway,
Well, if
so as you
if
can
her
see, it
goal
does
is to
measure like
destroy
my
the
emotive
libs
state.
and
So
make the wokies mad and get rid of all the human artists trying to charge you a shit ton, then
I
yeah,
mean,
she thinks it's
so
good.
that's probably not going to happen. I mean, in a lot of cases, like small YouTubers will use it,
Hell,
and slop
even
channels
Rev
will
was like
use it, but I don't know that
even
everyone will.
Rev was sucking her off with this
Yeah,
shit.
of course, they're all
Of
friends,
course,
right?
and you know, the reason these people thought that this was good was because and I kid you not, they said the artists have competition and they want to get rid of the competition.
if
No,
I smile,
it's because it looks like fucking shit
Yeah.
and it's lazy. It does not look
you can see that
well.
it will smile like this, and then my neutral if I'm in neutral, and then if I frown, it will change like the state. And each like change state actually has a different speaking animation as well.
I hate the generic AI anime face so much. Yeah. Devoid of any soul. That's generally the problem with a lot of this stuff. Is it's just devoid of soul. If it's the one I think it is.
So
All right,
you can see I have a neutral
I'll
speaking
just refrain
animation,
from
I have an
watching it.
upset speaking animation, I've got a happy speaking animation, and if you're surprised, it even tracks your surprise, which also has its own animation, right? Not only that, it also tracks like if you
It
can
is
do like a little face
incredibly
palm
jumpy chaser.
emote as well, and it also has type.
Like I can't believe that it's already out. If this is the state, like this is sure showing off how good it is, but it's jumping all over the place. It's jumping. Yeah, it's like five SPS. You're not wrong. I'm wondering why do they think artists equals lefty? I don't know. I mean, they just it's a sides game, right? Everyone's got a t-shirt, so everybody that is not on their side is on the left, right? So artists are lefties, or artists that don't agree with them are lefties.
Typing. So
I have been called a lefty so many times, and I'll tell you, I'm not.
you can typing makes a very distinct sound.
Why would I want to see her hands typing when she's typing on her keyboard?
So you can rig it up to also check for typing. If you have problems with that, like if your microphone is near your keyboard or something like that. Now to go on to emotes, it has a pretty comprehensive emote system. So it's got multiple types of emotes. So it's got some emotes that just play a straight up animation. So I'll show one like that. I have a thank you animation. So that's like our first type of animation. And we also have a type 2 animation in which it transitions you to a state in like which you can either load new animations, but it changes your idle.
Well, I mean, there's some truth to left. Like a lot of artists do tend to lean left. That just tends to be like the direction they go, the artist motif. But of course, it's got to be weaponized by the right to to make everybody the enemy. All artists are the enemy.
So, for instance, I've got like dance ones, right? Where if I hit like a dance, or we'll do 6-7. So I do like a little 6-7 here, and it will just stay in this
Oh,
state
stop.
basically
Stop it.
infinitely
Stop.
until
That-
I
No, fuck off. Fuck off with
decide
that.
to end it.
Also, I
There's
sent you
also
something in the
So
DM.
those would be okay if your arm wasn't constantly jumping off of your hip randomly, like you're glitching out and having fucking a seizure, right? So if you could do this in a way to like a normal VTuber, even one that like an artist makes could do these emotes, and I'm sure this probably does already exist somewhere. Then I would have more for it. But like if the AI is the one that's creating all of this code, it's very obviously flawed. And like how much can you throw into it before it really starts fucking up?
other ones that have emotes within emotes, and they can get really complicated. Like here, I'll show
So why did it do angry face while she's talking? Like it seems to be doing emotions that she's not portraying in her
one
voice,
here.
right?
Well, first off, I'll talk more about type 1 emotes. They can also have sound. So you can add a bunch of these ones that have sounds.
She's she's lagging from hacking the Rainbet mainframe.
And you can do a lot of really fun things with it.
Yeah, I get it that lefties tend to be anti-AI, but I hate to tell you, there's a lot of people that are anti-AI that aren't on the left, right? This isn't something that just the left is fighting. A lot of people are starting to fall away from AI, including a lot of major companies and things like that. AI
But-
is getting ready to probably crash.
But you don't get it. The loud minorities are the usual suspects. The lefties.
Yeah,
That's the bullshit they like to say a lot.
yeah.
The loud people are always the lefties, not knowing that maybe their own party is also speaking out of this. Just like how everybody, regardless of political affiliation, are going against Sony and PlayStation with that no disc bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. We need to sell AI bros to North Korea.
They're really great for doing AFKs. So if you need to go AFK, you just be like, peace out, chat.
Wow.
And then you
I think you need to fix that edging a little bit there, right? Or at least
I
the image
missed it.
size. You want. Okay, she just does the piece out. But you can see the edge of it, right? That shouldn't be showing
and then you
the,
can press it to come
the
back.
edges like that.
However you set it up, really. And then we've got
Oh my god, this thing
Things
needs
like
to
this?
stop jumping from shit to shit.
that completely change your idle state. And as you can see, I can talk in this. If I stop talking, it'll also stop talking.
Yeah, but it jumps when
Oh,
it
I
stops
hate-
talking.
And
I hate
these
the
things you can
fucking-
actually
It's so jarring how
Yeah,
how
it's
it jumps when she starts talking. Like if you look,
like you could just tell when the thing is like, all right,
and
let's go back.
these
Let's
things
go
you
back
can
to like our
actually
looping
connect other
animation and
sub
shit
emotes
like
to
this.
as well.
yeah, that's pretty much what it's doing. There's a looping animation when she's not talking, but when she opens her mouth to talk, it jumps because it's stopping the looping animation.
Oh, don't even get me started on the lips movement.
And then it has a
Yeah.
little
A
It's not
bunch
even-
of
it's not even
semiconductors
going
and memory
with
chip
her
makers
voice.
have been starting to take a huge hit. Micron share prices are plummeting. The bubble might finally be bursting. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. Like, not only that, but like, what is it? The Oracle, which is the largest funder of AI projects, hasn't made any money. They keep dumping money into OpenAI, and OpenAI hasn't shown like anything. It's almost to the point now that Oracle can't pull any more money. They don't have the credit to pull any more credit to spend on it. So right now it's all up in fake money that they're paying each other to get this stuff done. But some of the first AI data centers that were supposed to be done like last year, the year before, are just now like breaking ground. They can't even get them finished in time. And the vast majority of these like memory chips are sitting in storage. I was listening to economists talk about it, and he's like, by the time they get these data centers up and running, the chips that are in storage are going to be outdated and they're going to have to buy all new ones. Or like the data centers will perpetually be outdated with chips, which if you're going to make a revolutionary AI structure, you want top of the line, right? And with that, you constantly will have to replace the chips with new chips, right? There's talks that OpenAI might have to go public as a last ditch effort. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that happen too. But the money that they want is like in the billions. They need more. And they've already got billions of dollars to spend, and they want more money. Like someone said that they wanted to spend, God, I don't remember how many billion it was, but it was like the largest company in the world doesn't have that many $1 billion. But for some reason, this startup company that has been telling everybody to get it money is going to make that much money next year or this year, right? There's a lot of issues with it, and it might just collapse on itself. The problem with that is what's propping up the market right now is Oracle, Nvidia, and one other company that are all straight up in chip, in the chip manufacturing and AI stuff. So when those companies collapse, because it's starting to happen, the whole freaking stock market is going to fucking crash too. A danger center has also been linked to giving a lot of people foodborne illness by contaminating water supplies. I've heard that, but I've also heard the opposite, that because it is really just it's what is it called? It's steam cooling and things like that. So I mean, it would have to be like the rainfall is poisonous because it just brings it out into the open. Now I have heard other things like light noise. These things are lit up like there's no tomorrow. Definitely increases to the consumers' um, uh, power bill because OpenAI and companies like this are getting like tax discounts and other kind of discounts off of the electricity from the current Trump administration, which I think even some of this stuff was set up during the Biden administration too. So, all right, bud. All right. Let me. So it's like there's just nothing looks good. Like it doesn't look like no one would be taking this much risk on a profit if you actually knew how to do any kind of business. They're trying to fake it till they make it. Harvard did a study that said 95% of AI replacing jobs, like jobs that were replaced by AI, have failed. And the companies are having to rebuy all of or they're having to like rehire out. And what they're doing is they're hiring out to uh, uh, they're outsourcing to other countries like India and places like that to almost make it look like it still works. I know Amazon got caught doing this a couple years ago when they bought out Whole
Oh, don't
Foods.
remind me of Amazon's use of AI
Yeah.
when they did the fucking banana fish AI dub and
No.
some
This
other
was
anime. I don't know the name of it, but that shit was atrocious.
so no. This is worse in all of this. So if Amazon bought out Whole Foods, right? Their whole thing was to like get into the grocery store line and make it easier. Well, they promised that these grocery stores would be run with AI, that you would walk into the store and there would be cameras all over the place watching you, and they would that basically if you picked up an item, it would put it in your Amazon cart. If you put the item down, it would take it out of the Amazon cart. And when you went through when you went to go check out, you would just click on your phone, pay, and leave. Well, the project failed because it was later found out that the AI couldn't do it. So they had hired a bunch of Indian workers to watch people through the cameras and try and determine what they're putting up, what they're putting down, and get it to work. It's basically like a fucking waste of money. and lying to the consumer and everybody else because they were, they were saying it was AI. Another guy said his AI could do all sorts of amazing things that it couldn't do. He ended up going to jail for it. I mean, there's a lot. Like right now, AI doesn't have a place. It's trying to remake the spoon, but worse. It's like it's a spoon with a hole in it. The funny thing is that most of the outsourced labor is nowhere near as skilled as our domestic white collar tech workforce. They actually end up costing companies more in the end. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The problem is they don't want to pay. Like these corporations will try and cut anywhere they can, and part of that is, oh well, if I'm paying these people less an hour, then the dollar will go up. But they don't look at the long tech. Like I said, I've always said this. All these CEO, well, I haven't always said this. I heard this statement from an economist that I watched, and I think it's just true for everything when it comes to corporate CEOs and people who are at the top. They are middle management Nepo babies who've never worked a day in their life. They don't know how their company runs. They don't know what their product is. And they don't know what the consumer or their employees are looking for to be successful. So they end up like spending all of this money, and you're seeing a lot of these companies start to go under. I mean, look at Elon Musk and Tesla. Tesla is failing as a company. The fucking Cybertruck is a death trap, and he's having to have SpaceX buy out his other companies to
No
consolidate because he's
way.
losing so much money. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
wait. Hold on. Did you just say Tesla is failing?
yeah. Tesla's been failing.
Hold on. And these people were blaming the people destroying the Teslas when it was failing the entire time.
Well, the problem is like these people don't realize that Elon Musk is not really a good businessman. He was good at cheating people out of money in a lot of ways. Like or so when Tesla was made, the guys who invented Tesla, their story is he kicked them out basically and took the company for himself. He was part owner in the company, and he tricked them and took over the full company himself with Tesla. And then same thing tried to happen with PayPal, which funny enough, he wanted to name PayPal X. So Elon Musk only changed Twitter to X because he's always wanted to name something X because he's a fucking child that thinks that's a cool name, right? I used to think a name like
Yeah,
that was
what?
cool when I was 15 years old. Most EV
Dude,
automakers are doing terribly. Yeah. Well, there's so much extra cost to it. Like people don't realize. I was watching something on a Tesla or on a Cybertruck, right? And this is Cybertruck's the extreme. Like Cybertruck has got so many things that fail actual safety checks and that are illegal on the vehicle that it's unreal. So there's a lawsuit going on right now with Tesla, other drivers too, but the main one is these kids, right? Probably in their 20s, their teens to the 20s. I don't remember how old they were. They were out of like high school, I suppose. Were driving drunk, their fault, and they wrecked their car. They ran right into a fucking tree, which would normally kill most people, but the Cybertruck is made tough. It's made very tough. So they survived. But then they couldn't get out of the vehicle. You know why? Because the doors on Tesla are electronic. So when it hit there, the vehicle lost power and caught on fire because that's what fucking these batteries do, is catch on fire. And
Oh,
then
please tell me they got out. Please tell me someone came there and got them out.
So someone did come. However, there is a latch to get out of the vehicle, though. I will say this. There is a latch. It's hidden under a plate in the Cybertruck, at least. I think it was changed, but their model, it was hidden under a plate that you have to pop the plate and pull the latch to be able to get out. So it's hidden, and there are none in the back seats. Then what happened? Is someone showed up. Another kid showed up, saw that they had hit the vehicle, and went to go try and help him get out. Well, the electronic doors don't work, and there's nothing to yank on, right? So He went and grabbed a big log, right? He's going to break the window, pull these guys out, easy peasy. But does anyone remember what Tesla's windows are made out of? Bulletproof glass, tempered glass that isn't supposed to break. So he spent so much time whacking on it that when he finally got through, only one person got out and the rest burned to death in that death trap. Now, people have gotten trapped in their Teslas, couldn't get them open. Imagine if that happens on a hot day. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's insane how that's happening. Now you want to talk about like something that's fucking over the taxpayers? When these vehicles catch on fire, you can't just put a normal hose on it. You have to have specialized equipment that pours like tons of water onto them to try and put it out. And for fire departments to buy this equipment, they have to raise the local taxes so that they can afford to pay for it.
And Elon Musk thought this. And Elon Musk thought it was a good idea. Yeah, that good idea isn't going to kill somebody. Yeah, tell that to the one person that got out.
I honestly don't think the AI trucks are going to become a thing, because even in the taxis that are in, I want to say Texas right now, is doing the test with the taxis. There's 2 companies that are doing it, and the accident records are pretty bad. And it's not that, like, supposedly there's less accidents than you would have with a normal population, but what's being seen is the accidents are way worse. Waymo's is one of them. Waymo's isn't as bad as Tesla, though. Tesla has far more accidents, and Tesla has been hiding from the government what the accidents actually were. They just report it as an accident. They don't give a description of what happened with the accident, which has gone against what the government has said they need to put out for their testing to decide if they're going to let these things on the road. So definitely a lot of issues. AI is a technology in the infancy that people think will solve everything. Yeah, well, that's what it's marketed as, right? This will solve anything. It can teach your baby.
like, it's like these people act like they're against AI as a whole. Like, don't get me wrong. I sometimes use AI if I'm like having a trouble and like a problem or something. I'm totally against generative AI. Like, I don't mind like if you're using AI to like help with something, but if you're using AI to like create something and then pass it off as like, oh, I created this, then that's not real art. That's why artists are upset.
You have to be careful with even like ChatGPT on giving you information, because it'll make shit up for you. Did you know AI can't do math? Anything over 6 digits, it gets wrong.
Yeah, I know that much.
There was also a case, and there's been, I guess, multiple cases now at this point, but there was a case where 2 lawyers exclusively used ChatGPT to write their case. And
please tell me that didn't work.
Well, no, it didn't work. They got disbarred because it made up case law to make it sound like they would win. And since they didn't double check any of the case law, the judge looked at it and he's like, are you going to show me where this case law is? You have until, like, he basically was like, all right, you've got this many hours to show me these case laws, because I don't think they exist, because they didn't want to admit they used ChatGPT. They were both disbarred for it. So yeah, it will give you the wrong answer.
And AI is going to get rid of the woke human artists.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you made yourself look like jackasses.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of problems with it. Well, that's a good point, Mike. Like what EGAD does with his little AI videos and projects, it is very impressive. I still think it has that tinge of AI on it that they all have, but I don't see necessarily a problem with making little things for it. Like I've said in the past, my friends have, on the current campaign I'm running in D&D, my friends used generative AI to help them build their backstory. And then they put it into AI what they were looking for, made some adjustments, retyped it so that it wasn't, crazy looking, and then sent it to me. and I was able to add it into their story. Things like that I don't mind. Making characters for your D&D campaign at home, I don't mind. Even EGAD's videos are okay, but the problem where I think what EGAD's videos do becomes a problem is when you start making like a slop channel where it's just all AI, right? It's pushing past the creative munch just to push out AI over AI to flood the system. So, oh man, I'm gonna change the stream because I don't know that we're gonna get to the EGAD's video. So I gotta change the stream name. Edit. Doop. Boom. AI bro versus artist bro. Leaflits biggest fan. There we go. Here's your shitty EV that looks like a Corolla and has nothing but a bolted iPad to the dashboard as an informant system. That'll be $120,000, good sir. Yeah, I mean they're just way overpriced, and Tesla in itself is its value is way bloated, way bloated. Uh, that's why like there it just doesn't make sense if you look at the rest of the car industry and look at Tesla. And the way Elon has tried to cope with that is saying, well, we're an electronics company, we're not AI, we're not a vehicle company. And that's only partially true because Tesla bought out their AI company. So every time something starts to lose money, he just has one of his companies buy it out. Sales were so bad last year for the Tesla, or they're so bad this year too, that this year he had to have SpaceX buy a fleet of them so that the numbers would look higher. But he's only sold like 10 or 20,000 or something like that. It's fucking dire. Bro, nothing makes sense anymore. 70K for a new Gen 4 runner, off-road premium with shitty twin turbo hybrid 4-cylinder. Yep. Well, from my understanding, a lot of that has to do with laws that were changed about, about engines and green this and all of that other stuff. So they just started making 4-cylinders, and then to get them to reach the similar power, they added turbos onto them, which is what my Tacoma is. I bought a 2026 Tacoma. So, I mean, it's that same thing. I've seen a Cybertruck like this twice this year. I've seen a Cybertruck like this twice this year. Yeah, there's not very many of them. They're not very common, even when I've seen. And when I drive by the Tesla place, the Tesla store, dealership, you should say, it is empty. I don't see anybody walking around there looking at vehicles. It's just a fleet full of Cybertrucks sitting there collecting dust. Somewhere. But we'll see how this conversation goes. It seems interesting. I don't know why it's not showing Salients. At this point, Wargaming Dad. The engine is capable, but seeing so many recalls, I don't know if they're fixed now. Probably not. Probably not. No. You're good on the derail. That was a fun little derail to get into. And it's a little topical, right? I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be talking about on this AI front, so we'll see. We'll see. And it should be interesting conversation. Boom, boom, boom. So we're going to... Simon says he might be a little bit early. I don't know if I should start the EGAD video. Nothing. I've got songs stuck in my head because my kid's been playing and watching the Minions, like all the movies, because the new one's about to come to streaming, and he wants to see it so bad. The Minions monsters. I need to I'd say go ahead and watch the EGAD's video. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and watch Egad's video. Boop. So we were watching this last time, and if you weren't there for last stream, this is a video. It's like the Egad's been on this thing about male brain, female brain stuff, and this is talking about like organized dissent or managed dissent, where he sees that like a lot of these guys are, whether they're doing it on purpose or not, they're basically sticking together with a story, I guess you could say. Won't take long, but I'm sure you'll have time to finish. Okay.
Video game Ukulele, a video series which I personally consider to be his best analysis, if only because much of the video involved using other people's words against them.
They announced they're using the Unity engine, which is the engine you make the fucking Donald Trump game with.
Yes, Donkey, because it is free. You know what else was made using Unity? A little game known only as, Hollow Knight. No, it doesn't seem like much of a shock considering the others I've mentioned, that another gorgeous and fantastically tight game like Hollow Knight was created on Unity. Donkey probably didn't know. It's not like he's played Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight, which has raised the bar for Metroidvanias to infinity. I mean, you just gotta feel bad for anyone trying to follow this shit up. Good luck. For real, good luck.
Well, that's just fucking embarrassing. Anyway, it was made clear in fucking 2012 that Playtonic were highly interested in Unity. So implying that it was some sort of bait-and-switch, cop-out move is literally just dishonest.
But anyway, back in the day, Mahler's analyses also brought the ire of arrogant breadtubers like H. Bomber Guy unfolding ideas down upon him. And regardless to Mahler's apolitical insistences, any perceived pushback against progressive media, and The Last Jedi most certainly is progressive media, would inevitably paint him as far-right and reinforcing dissident beliefs. Now, the YouTube channel Lacking Saint offered a substantive takedown of Mahler's claims of objectivity, as well as Mahler's occasional arrogance. Unfortunately for Jack, he undermined his own position by partnering with this person. And I'm just going to show you a picture of this person. When you see this picture, you'll instantly realize what Jack was attempting to do and why it was so dishonest. Now, in a potential debate, Jack could have presented the most airtight counter-argument as one could in response to Mahler or EFAP about any given subject matter about movies, but that's not the point. The point is, what Jack was doing was a form of leftist, performative, moral grandstanding. It's something every breadtuber does in order to tip the scales in their favor, and they continue to do this because the only thing they know to do is to find the nearest person who they can use to promulgate the oppressed identity category and win through status, rather than objective analysis. And again, it's ironic because Jack could have won through objective analysis. He was actually pretty good at it. But anyway, Mahler...
This is, I mean, he's not wrong here. Like, there's definitely like this left-wing group that will use these kind of, like, calling people racist, calling people homophobic, calling them this and that. It's all to try and paint them in a picture so that they will, they're the enemy. So none of, it goes really hard on their side. It goes really hard on their side, we'll say, with people just not like, what is the word for it? What is the word for it? God, I completely lost my train of thought. It goes really hard in these leftist groups because then they can just paint you as the enemy. I will say that with like pretty much just about every evil, Jeff. Yeah, paints them as evil. Welcome, Jeff. It's once you paint them as evil, it kind of like, you don't have to fight the argument. They're just bad. And I look at like a lot of these guys, just about every one of the anti-woke guys that are out there. And I don't think I've seen any of them that are truly racist in that way, or that I think are truly racist, right? They may make racist jokes or say slurs or anything like that. But like most of the time, I do believe it's in joking manner or to be this kind of performative racism and things like that. So yeah.
Mahler's decision to opt out of a potential debate with Jack Saint was a shrewd one. To that point, Mahler gained popularity because he played the status and group consensus game. which is the game you need to play on the internet in order to win. What people need to be aware of is that these centrist libertarian types can oppose fringe progressive meddling in media, which lends to the appearance that they're based and they reject progressivism outright. But their crusade only stops insofar as they must reduce true believers into becoming useful idiots once again. And yes, that includes both sides of the spectrum. And I think this again leans into the irony of how modern media works. Going back to the Thanos example, I remember when it was hyped to just psychoanalyze Thanos or some other Marvel villain to see how intricate a villain could be. And that's funny to consider in a field of critics who have forced themselves to speak in bare minimum generalities when it comes to their own media, and not to simply ask the question if a fictional world's interpretation of good and evil reflects any actual lived experience. So if you're a fellow chud, you realize this is the
Yeah, ranting for vengeance is, I think, one of those guys. You might be able to call him that. Like, he's so extreme. He just doesn't seem to be anything but angry.
main difference between an all-out leftist and one of those centrist libertarian types. A leftist will tell you what he believes in, whereas a centrist lib tells you he doesn't believe in anything except that nobody should believe in anything. So they're nihilists. They have no other mode other than to say they don't commit to anything except that they believe nobody else should interfere with their non-commitment. And again, the irony to that is much of the modern media that they consume and they dislike reflects that exact state of studied non-commitment, carefully sidestepping any hard truths or sincerity. Mueller and EFAP have routinely platformed left-leaning guests, all the while they blacklist figures like Synthetic Man. Ask yourself, where do their true leanings lie?
Yeah,
they
we
may
talked
insist
about, like, Jan was talking about this earlier, and I could definitely say, like, I think Synthetic Man, I'd have to look more into Synthetic Man, but Jan's kind of take on it is like there were reasons for it, or that they think he's a complete retard, so that's why they won't bring him on. But you know.
it's all about objective analysis, right? But in reality, it's all about truth as consensus. It's about finding other high-status people on the internet and are very often moderate or leftists or who have shown themselves to be a good golem, and thereby they extend their influence. And that context is crucial for understanding his 2022 attacks on Synthetic Man. I mean, he even admitted he was being dishonest. And his regular viewers aren't ever going to pause and unsubscribe because Mr. Objective Analysis has had a moment of inconsistency. The hug box is all that matters to these people. At the root of the conflict between EFAP and Synthetic Man is not a difference of opinion. You need
Huh?
Wait, rewind that. What? Rewind that part about the Synthetic Man
to
thing?
understand the analysis. Regular viewers aren't ever going to pause and unsubscribe. And that context is crucial for understanding his 2022 attacks on Synthetic Man. I mean, he even admitted he was being
I work with retards.
Yo, thank you for the sub, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Honest. And his regular viewers aren't ever going to pause and unsubscribe because Mr. Objective Analysis has had a moment of inconsistency. The hug box is all that matters to these people. At the root of the conflict between EFAP and...
I know this motherfucker is not defending Synthetic Man.
You got actually a fan of Synthetic Man's, yeah. He's spoken with them and done things like that. That's kind of the group he comes from. Been in a few hug boxes. We know, Jeff. We know. Try not to get yourself in any hug boxes from now on. Try and think for yourself a little bit.
And Synthetic Man is not a difference of opinion. You need to understand that. It's not even a political difference. Instead, it's because time and again, Synthetic Man has demonstrated he isn't interested in playing status games.
It is a
catering to
a conspiracy theorist type of shit where you point out some bullshit about how a show is promoting a race mixing propaganda type of shit. Yeah, that's definitely not political. No, that is just some crazy ass shit. That is crazy people talk. What the fuck?
underlying truth as consensus that so many of these other channels play and sustain themselves upon. That's why he was blacklisted. And for anyone who is deeply invested in Mahler or EFAP, consider this. In the past, these creators had lambasted a massive multimedia conglomerate for mishandling their beloved franchise, Star Wars. All the while, they turned around and uncritically praised a subsidiary of that same conglomerate, Marvel.
Yes, you
all
did,
as if the
Jeff.
prior failures from Star Wars never occurred. And they repeat that pattern constantly, by the way. Why is that? Well, you need to look at these people as statists. They specifically avoid talking about politics, which limits their criticism to operating within this strange liminal zone that treats good or bad media as just random hits or misses, with little acknowledgement of any underlying motivations regarding any of it. And the reason they avoid addressing those motivations is that, one, they would need to understand those motivations, but two, in the mind of a statist, the people or institutions who are necessary in shaping and propagating mainstream media must be removed from any ordinary accountability or scrutiny. It's essentially some glorified form of leave the multi-million-dollar corporation alone. But even looking at that...
The thing that he talks about with like not wanting to get political on it, I mean, there are some of them that are very political on it, right? From like he's been talking about the movie side, but you look like from the gaming side, just about all of those guys tend to be MAGA in one way or another and talk about their political motifs. But I don't think you have to be political just to talk about movies and games and things like that, right? Obviously there is a political aspect to the culture war, but it doesn't mean you have to involve yourself necessarily with the wider political group.
Thank you. That's basically like almost what Synthetic Man is. He has to find something to add to this goddamn culture war and try to what's the word I'm looking for? Try to pander to a large political group or some bullshit for
Does
views.
Synthetic Man do that though? Because there's been plenty of the other guys that pander to a particular group. Like you could say that Mahler and definitely Critical Drinker and all of these, they're pandering to a particular political group, right? They're not really looking, for their audience, and that's how they've grown, is by, taking, well, Mahler's a different story, right? Mahler's a different story, I think. But they've grown off of that. Same thing with the anti-woke side. They've picked a side where Synthetic Man, I don't think is that big, right? He's been made famous here recently by his Fallout 3 takes, or Fallout TV series takes, but he hasn't been getting like a ton of subscribers. Let's see how big he is. While we're here.
I don't know. All I know is that the motherfucker is crazy, and the dude is in his 40s, lives with his mother.
What's wrong with that?
Just
42.
the way you look at Synthetic Man, the motherfucker looks like he is
He's pretty
he
big.
doesn't have a soul. It looks like he doesn't have a soul, and his fans are fucking rabid, like Noah Rabbit. And he
Synthetic Man
he
said
too.
said the Black Flag was a pointless remake. That's interesting.
Yeah, and the motherfucker said that Tears of the Kingdom, the goat character Rauru, said that it was some kind of satanic symbolism or some shit like that.
That doesn't surprise me. They're very, very like Christian like in their ways, but it's not necessarily a full Christian belief that I add to. With it, which me and EGAD have talked a little bit about things like that.
I doubt this motherfucker is a Christian nationalist. And if he is, he's doing a worse job of showing that.
Well, maybe not. I mean,
At least with Tactical Templar, I can. At least with Tactical Templar, I can believe he's a Christian nationalist. But if you're saying that about Synthetic Man, he's
Well,
doing a
here's the
shit
thing.
job of trying to
Templar
bring Christianity.
Templar seems more
What were you saying?
fake with Christianity than anyone else, right? If you're a person on stream, on one hand, talking the takes he has, and then on the other hand using Bible quotes, you're using religion to bait sympathy and to try and make it sound like it's your good point. Synthetic Man
Not to
might not
mention,
be. Yeah, Templar is fake. It's just a way to get YouTube neat bucks, right? Like the rest of those guys. Where Synthetic Man may actually be a Christian nationalist, right? He's not necessarily going to read Bible quotes over there, but he will tell you that race mixing is wrong and that you shouldn't be doing it, right? Even the
where the
right-wing people
fuck
think
was
that
that
guy is
at in the Bible?
It's not.
If that somehow was in the Bible, I need to search it up because I don't believe that shit was. And Lord said, don't race mix with other.
I don't know. It's not. Yeah, it's in Matthew 6:7. Did you just do a 6:7 joke?
I was about to believe that until the 6-7 came up.
Matthew
Oh, you almost
6:7,
got me
and
there.
they
You
shall
almost
not
got me
race
there.
bait. Or that's fine. That's fine. But you're on thin ice, mister. I'm too impulsive. All right, let's do this. We're going to build a
Now,
road.
okay, let's keep going.
Yep.
Realistically, for a lot of people, Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney in general propagate entire religions. Religion in this sense being an area of profound devotion or obligation. And as such, these franchises are seen as above reproach, as are the people who make them. You can include corporations like Nintendo, like Microsoft, and Sony in this dynamic, which also might explain why Sony would have been seen as above reproach by Mahler and EFAP, and why they had to rebuke Synthetic Man for...
So here's the thing, like when we talk about these corporations, the way he talks is it makes it sound like it's they're using like wokeness to be like a shield from criticism. But the problem is if you really look at it, like a lot of the people who come in talking and who defend the stuff are the artists that are left wing, the devs that are left wing, things like that, the people who work in it. The only thing the company cares about is money, right? That's the only thing they care about. And if they're getting money through, say, like the BlackRock that people like to say and talk about that, and BlackRock is paying for woke, it's because they've done this analysis. A lot of this stuff still comes from 2020. This is how slow corporations move. It's 2020 when there was a huge rise in the left wing, we'll say, community, progressives, liberal, well, not even the liberals. A lot of the liberals got pushed very far right, or they were told that they were right because they weren't progressive enough. And companies saw that. They saw like 2020, all these people getting on playing games, all these people on Twitter saying their left-wing opinions and how this and that needed to happen. So that's what companies targeted. They targeted what they heard online, and that's what they thought it was. Now, it's an investment firm, not the Illuminati. Correct. It's an investment firm. And one thing that these companies did get, right, was, what is it called? Like government funding for like some of these woke projects and things like that. That did happen, right? But it doesn't happen because the government is left-wing or right-wing or anything else like that. It happened because politicians and company people, technically more evil, I agree, Jeff, is because these companies can't steer their ship. They chose a path. They started making these games, these movies, these things like that, and now the products are starting to come out, and they're failing because it was the wrong path, because they couldn't read the epidemic for what it was. And that's why all these firings are happening and stuff like that, so that they can get back down, because they're bloated with too many people. There's too many artists, there's too many writers, there's too many devs, there's too many coders. They just thought, oh, more people make better game, and that's just not the truth, right? The smaller teams are the ones that can put out a great product because everything can be talked about with the group. They kill companies for their assets. They don't just do that. One thing that BlackRock does is they make patents for everything that could possibly exist. If there's an idea, they make a patent for it. And then what happens is, if someone makes that product, by law, they're given so many months or years to be able to make that product. I don't know if it's that way anymore, but basically what they do is, when someone makes a product that they have a patent for already, they sue them and try and steal the product so they can make all the money from it. They make most of their money is made from suing people for patent stuff. Too many games and too little of money. Yeah. Too much corporate overhead, redundancy, too much middle management to connect back to your earlier point about managers, but who don't know how to run their business. Yeah, I mean, and gamers were saying this was, I knew I was saying, even though I was young, it's a bad thing, like EA and these companies that are buying out all these smaller companies, because the actual owners, the CEOs of these groups, do not care about gaming. You know, we've heard it over and over again, like people saying, the CEO that said if he could charge everybody $1 a bullet or $1 a magazine, that they would. They don't care about anything but profit, not making a good game. Or a good movie, for that matter.
Trashing their newest Goy Slop God of War movie game. To be absolutely clear, Mauler and EFAP are high-functioning golems. The entire reason their channels exist is to curry managed dissent for trending consumer products, all the while their rhetoric unconsciously defaults to upholding group consensus. In other words, the taken-for-granted blend of corporate-state fusion, cultural managerialism, and progressive assumptions that dominate liberal institutions. It is the default operating system of elite media, of academia, and entertainment that most centrists treat as neutral or common sense, and they don't see it as any specific ideological regime. Now, this is something that the YouTube channel Spree Snooter also highlighted in The Critical Drinker. For instance, how the Critical Drinker treats the strong woman archetype in modern media as an unquestioned given, and the only real critique is whether it was well written.
Incorporating progressive themes and ideas into entertainment is no different than incorporating traditional conservative themes and ideas. They're both just perspectives that the audience is invited to consider.
People like this running the largest right-wing media channels is the reason why the right never wins culturally. It's the reason why modern-day conservatives are further left than Obama-era Democrats. They don't mind the blatantly subversive anti-white propaganda so long as it's done well. But, you know, Drinker can totally be trusted when it comes to talking about the message.
Not only does Critical Drinker's approach keep all his criticism at a surface level, it fundamentally presumes that all mainstream media operates in good faith. Consequently, any bad writing becomes nothing more than an unfortunate oopsie. You know, it's not a pattern of behavior indicative of people of a particular ideology or ethnic identity. No, I won't talk about.
This is what Jan and me was going into earlier. Like it's kind of this deal. Like it's all about the ideology. It's all about the it really is conspiracy theory-ish, when the simplest answer is the simplest answer could be, which really is what I think it is that these companies have been hiring new artists, new writers, and just putting them into major products. I would even say it's probably a very Nepo baby situation. What's going on, Dominator? How you doing? I would portray most of it to be Nepo babyism. Like a lot of these people are already. I mean, and Hollywood has always been this way. You know, you have to know somebody to get in, or you had to sleep with fucking Harvey Weinstein, right?
About that. But to stay on point about female brain dynamics, when it comes to the Critical Drinker's takes, just take a mental note of how agreeable he is and how often he defers to whatever the prevailing opinion is whenever he's in a group setting. Like how he deferred to Mauler when Mauler said the Fallout show was bad. But I won't go into much detail about the Critical Drinker here.
So, all right, this is a good point, because I have watched like Mahler. I've watched the group channels that have like um, Critical Drinker in it, and he does not say anything on the stream until like I think he understands what everyone else's perspective is, like what's the right perspective to get, And I think that's how he is so successful in a way, is he waits to hear what people want to hear, and then he reaches that opinion.
Here, because not only have
Because a lot of his other stuff is just kind of the same thing over and over again, and I get it goes really hard for some people when he's like, "Oh, Mary Sue or the message," but it's not like it doesn't seem to be any actual critical analysis. It's just him saying the same buzzwords over and over and over again. So like a Gen AI. That's right, just like a Gen AI.
I covered his inconsistencies in the past, but the YouTube channel Spree Snooter has already covered that front in his video 1348X Voto and the Lie of Female Equality. Suffice it to say, I will grant that the engagement offered by Mahler and similar channels represents a shift that some male-brained ideas are coming out of the exclusion stage of the female brain dialectic into a form of isolation. But the problem is those ideas are kind of stuck there, forever echoing each other within their localized echo chambers. And the question is how...
In the waiting room. So we're pretty close to the end of that, so that worked out well. I may finish up the rest of it. Hold on. You are ready.
I really don't want to know his takes on fucking sinners.
I mean, he doesn't like sinners. He thinks they're sinner. Oh, sinners. That was pretty
The movie.
interesting. I talked to some of his people, or some of his friends, on one of their other channels, and I was talking to him. He was watching a
want to see that.
video.
Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Do
All right,
not want to hear it.
Well, I'm gonna have you.
My real passion is my hobby.
I'm gonna have
Really?
you jump
What's
out.
that?
Oh, thanks, Jeff. Thanks for
I
the
work with
follow on
retards.
Twitch too. If you prefer Twitch as a place to watch, I am on Twitch as well. So feel free to come over. If you were gonna do a quick shill here, real quick, before we start this off. If you haven't liked the stream, please go ahead and like it. Get us moving up in the algorithm. More people watching and hopefully enjoying. And if you do enjoy what you're watching today, please subscribe. I hit my 200 goal yesterday, and we're moving on to get to the 500, so we can possibly be monetized. But we'll see. So thank you guys. Hey, Free, I'm gonna have you jump out, so I can put them in, because it's just gonna be them and me. All right.
All right.
All right, later. What's up, bud?
Much you.
Oh, just hanging out, listening to EGAD's video. I say I have a lot of disagreements with this one.
Oh, you have a lot of disagreements with this one? Okay. Interesting, interesting.
Yeah. It's just a little.
I mean, I tend
to
have my disagreements with EGAD as well, but hey.
I know, I've seen y'all argue.
Yeah, but hey, but again, every now and then he tends to say some stuff that I actually do agree with him on, which, fair.
I think he's a pretty
I mean, yeah, dude,
you
can he's very much anti-woke, but hey, or whatever, or a chud, as he would call himself, or whatever.
Yeah, he'd probably
but
call
he's
himself
one
a
of those guys. He's one of those guys you can actually talk to. You can actually talk to. You can actually reason with him. So yeah, I kind of got to give EGAD respect on that front, even though I don't always agree with him.
Yeah. No, he's definitely like not the typical anti-woke. He has a lot of problems with the current anti-woke agenda and how it's just as fake.
I mean, I
as
think
the
we.
leftists used to
I
be.
mean, I think we all kind of do at this point with the whole anti-woke agenda. A lot of us are just kind of sick and tired of it. Because it's basically just they are the new soy, they are the new SJWs.
Oh, 100%. We're just waiting on. How do you pronounce their name?
A good question. I've been trying to figure that out as well. Hold up.
I guess we're gonna.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna find out from Burrow himself. So hopefully he comes on. Yeah, but I find that kind of weird. Solely, Solence. I'll just call him Solence at that point. That's how I read it.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little bit about it. We were having trouble reading the.
So long story short, like the back and forth him and I were having there was mostly us just like shit talking each other at that point. Like there were some things that we were actually talking about where we kinda met like to a somewhat of a reasonable agreement or like partial agreement, but overall, AI bro, like the long story short, he actually did make like a short like video, like AI generated slop video regarding my book about how reviewing, and that's how he basically fell on my radar. Aside from that, I don't really know too much about the guy, so it's going to be interesting to be able to talk to him. All I know is that when Leaflit first when I got put on blast by Leaflit originally, like I got a whole bunch of these AI bros coming after me, him included. So hey.
Okay. Well, this should be interesting. We're just waiting for him to jump into to the waiting room. I sent him a message. He said all right, but I haven't seen him yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we got to talking. I mean, you obviously heard. We got to talking a lot about AI and the problems with it. And
I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I personally don't have like I am not a 100% anti AI type of individual. I do think it could have like some uses as a tool to help creatives in certain creative processes. Like for artists, like I know there's like a lot of processes when it comes to artists that it's easier for them to work with. Like there's some processes that's extremely tedious, and AI could help with those process. Like for me as a writer, having like an AI editor like suggest things on how to word certain things, and then I basically go off that and say, oh, that's actually a good idea. I'm going to actually like add that and reword it a little bit more so that it works better. Like that would be nice. Like it would be a nice idea. It's a nice tool to help like brain like certain processes or help better elaborate, like better expand your vocabulary, like in my case to some extent.
Yeah.
So I personally think that to some extent it does have its uses. Where I have an issue with it is when you start completely replacing the process and only care about, I have an idea, I don't want to do all the bullshit in between in order to get the results of that idea.
Yeah.
That's where I have an issue with it. It's like, because you just
like OpenAI and all those came out, and their whole thing was like, we're going to replace everybody's jobs. So yeah, of course.
Well, it's not just replacing everybody's jobs. You're also replacing. Like, here's the thing, because the way that a lot of these AI bros look at it, they look at it as, I have an idea. Oh, he's in the waiting room right now, actually.
Oh yeah. Let's bring him in. Welcome. How's it going?
Hey, Celine, what's up? Solence,
yeah, what's up?
Okay. What's up? Hey. So, yeah, we were already kind of like talking about it. So, do you want to open the debate with like your argument?
Okay, so we're going into this with the idea of a debate. Debate?
Debate, talk, whatever. We can talk about it.
It doesn't have to be a full-on like debate format or anything like that. We just sit here and talk about it. I'll moderate, and put in my points here or there for it, and we'll just see what comes of it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, whatever you want. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a discussion. So the way I'm approaching this is, if you have questions, I'll answer the questions. If you have a point that you want to make, then I will, I will make my point, and vice versa is how I thought about doing it in my head.
Okay. So okay, well, in that case, I'll shoot you. Like, what exactly, like, when it comes to AI, what do you think, like, should be like the standard? Because as I was like discussing here before just a few minutes ago, I'm not fully against the idea of AI if it can be used as a tool to help creatives in, you know, the more tedious tasks of the creative process. Like in my case as a writer, I wouldn't mind having an AI editor give me suggestions on how I should word my manuscript, or, you know, to better expand my vocabulary and make it less wordy or tedious. I wouldn't mind that. It would help. But at the same time, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So here's the thing. Actually, you could just straight up do that right now. That's sort of the process that I follow when it comes to creating my AI music. Is I do it through Grok, right? So, like I told you before, I had Grok make that song by analyzing that whole review of your work, right? And I didn't take it seriously. I just let Grok do whatever, and then I put it over into Suno and generated it, right? But that's not my process normally. My process normally is I will write something. I will either write the full chorus or I will write half the song, what have you. And then I will give it to Grok and we will discuss back and forth as if I'm talking to a producer in a room about how we would make the song better and how it would structure better. And that's how I normally make my music. Is I don't fully commit to the AI for that, but I will seek out its help just like I would with any other person, like my friends, to better structure the song. Then we work out what would be the best fit for the style, as well as following music theory in order to break down how the song should sound. And that's how I would normally produce a song through AI using Grok and using Suno. So it's way more than just tell Grok to make lyrics, put it in Suno, done. Normally, I would never do that, but for your situation, with you and at Leaf, I was just like, okay, how do we piss this guy off? We do that. I generated the song, didn't even go over the lyrics or anything. I just popped it in.
And that's kind of why it sounded like extreme slop at that point, because I actually listened to it. I was like, what the fuck is this trash?
So you don't
no, it was absolutely made to piss you off.
I'm not going down. Yeah, and I could tell too, again, because it was very low effort. So again,
well, okay, so let me ask a question. You don't use the AI to make the music. You write the lyrics yourself, and then you use the AI to adjust.
But
right?
my question is as well, how much? Like I said, you said half the lyrics, or the chorus and whatever. But how much of it is like actually you, and how much of it is the AI?
So it depends on what I'm writing at then and there. Sometimes I'll have a block where I can't think of anything, so I'll ask Grok, "Hey, this is what I'm going for. This is the mood. This is what I want for the style. What do you think for this bar should the rest of it be?" And then it will generate, right? But it doesn't end there for me. For me, I will generate one song as a test song to see how everything sounds. Then I will systematically go through the entire thing, change what I want, move what I want, delete what I want, and then we go from there. And then I discuss back and forth with Grok. I said this in the Discord whenever we were discussing some things, that I actually did make a better song that put in more effort for your situation. But the song turned out way better than just a shitpost against you, and actually just sounds like how do I put this? It sounds like a meta level critique of you as a person, not you per se, Simon. You as in you, the human being, if your life is at a stage where you need to reevaluate yourself, which is why I just kept it for the album. I didn't even post it.
Is that the one where I told you all my favorite genre was like country and whatever?
No. So that one I couldn't get to work, mostly because I dislike country greatly. So I couldn't. My problem is that if I don't like the genre of if I don't like the genre of something, I can't produce music in it because I don't know how it's supposed to sound good, because to me it does not sound good.
Okay, point is, like, just so you know, like the whole like country thing, I was fucking trolling you there. I fucking hate country.
Okay, so we can agree on that at least.
Yeah, we can
Country's
agree. Yeah,
terrible.
like country is fucking terrible. Like I was
Yeah, no, I
messing
can't
with
do
you
that.
there.
Yeah,
So,
no matter how many times I tried to
okay.
generate it, I put in effort, it sounded terrible. I can't do it.
Okay, so point is, again, like you're saying basically that you use like AI to like some of it to write your lyrics, and then you also kind of like use Grok as an editor to some point, which to some extent, as a writer, I could say, okay, that's fair, because you're actually putting some level of human work into it, and you're using Grok more or AI as a tool to help with suggestions and then help better it. Now,
as a
my
suggestion.
question is, when it comes to musicians, would you consider like people who actually make the music with actual instruments, or like I don't know, me like who are or actually like produce the music, like with like synth waves or whatever, like those type of stuff? Would you say that generating the music with AI is the same level of artistic creativity as someone who actually knows how to play instruments and knows how to properly, like, you know, apply certain effects to the music that they compose?
No. So this is a thing that I don't think the anti-AI people get. Even though we shitpost and we fuck with you guys sometimes, we do not think at all that the AI is a adequate substitute for actual human input. But we also believe that we are putting in the input. It's just what isn't being done is the time taken to do the drawings ourselves. So we understand that the AI is doing the drawing work itself, right? But without our input on how things should be, all you will produce at that level is slop. Say, for example, those stupid Love Island AI slot videos that are actual garbage. There is no effort whatsoever in the prompting for those. They just tell it to make some bullshit and it makes some bullshit.
Well, yeah, I've seen what those sub videos are, so keep going.
But what we do a lot of the times is not just generating the art with prompts, but the prompts, in order to make something even halfway decent, have to be lengthy, detailed, and actually structured.
Okay,
so
but here's the thing. This is where I'm going to come out and tell you, because when it comes to putting prompts into a keyboard, how is that any different from, let's say, I don't know, me commissioning an actual artist? Because when you are commissioning an actual artist, you are technically telling them, typing to them what you have in mind. And then, you know, they produce it, they draw a sketch for you, they draw out a rough outline. And at the end of the day, and then they come up with something. And if that's to your liking, you either approve it or you tell them to, you know, go edit certain areas which you would see. Like when you were telling me like the whole prompt thing, like the whole when you just and again, AI bros
it's literally the same thing.
Yeah, what AI bros, but that's the thing. I wouldn't consider that actually making art. You're more so on par with someone who is commissioning art from an actual artist. And here's the thing with AI generated art in general, is that it is taken from actual artists whose stuff has been scraped off the internet without their permission, without their consent, and most of the time without their knowledge even. So it has to get its training somewhere, and it scrapes other people's art, which is technically a form of theft when you really think about it.
So it used to be that bad, right? But
It still
what
is.
is happening? Well, for smaller, how do I put this? Smaller people doing it, not like, okay, so for example, Grok AI and the things of that nature, they either do it in-house or with, and they came out and outright said this, if you're posting it on there in their terms of service, they are letting you know that it will be analyzing it for data, right? But what they're doing now is primarily trying to do it in-house with their own hired help, or what is very interesting, and I can't wait for this to be fully fleshed out, is they've started doing synthetic data. So synthetic data is not trained on anything at all. There's no reference for it. It's synthetically made and follows patterns, and it will make its own art that way. And they're trying to steer away from having to scrub data because they can't do it all like forever.
Okay.
There's only so much data.
Okay, but synthetic data. So basically, at that point, what you're describing sounds to me like it's AI training off other AI at this point, or at least what other AI is basically able to generate legally from itself, because they can't do that anymore. And again, you have massive class action lawsuits going against that as well. Like Gemini, I believe, is having one that is coming up in September. Like I'm not sure which one, but that's the whole part as well. And I'm looking at that. Like, don't you think that will create like an enshittification process? Because now AI is just training off itself. And by doing that, it's basically, and already AI is already kind of like very telling. It's easy to tell what is AI generated and what isn't.
Well, actually,
Because
the synthetic data
itself.
Well, the synthetic data is not being, so it's not AI training itself off of AI. It's literally just taking non-existent data and making something out of it. It's not for training, it's for the creation purposes of it. So it's taking data that normally is like noise and making it into something, is how I'm understanding it. It's not to train AI to make stuff through AI.
Oh,
I could get you an article about it. It's very weird, very new tech, and
send me that
it's mostly
very weird. Yeah, it's very weird and kind of like sounds like a lot of.
It sounds like sci-fi.
And it sounds like a lot of magic black box gobbledygook, if you ask me, to some extent.
Yeah, no, it sounds. When I read about it, it sounded like black magic.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I'm kind of listening to it, what you're saying. Like, it's training off data that comes off as white noise, but how the fuck do you make music out of white noise?
Oh no, this isn't for music.
I know it's not for music. I'm just giving you like a hyperbolic and whatever. Like, how do you make something out of literal nothing?
Out of literal shape, out of literal like
air,
the way they
like
describe
air,
it,
actual
is
something
that
that you can't actually like out of nothing. Like, it's like, I'm going to give you an example, like a more physical example, a sculptor or somebody who makes something like like how do you make something without the materials? If you're getting what I'm saying, like that's kind of what I'm saying. How do you make a statue out of air?
So from what I understand, the synthetic data is the material. How they get that synthetic data, I'm not sure. I haven't done a full deep dive into it. From my understanding, at a basic level, this is being done strictly so they can move away from having to scrape existing data.
Honestly, that's one of those things that I'm going to have to see how that works and how it plays out, because it really sounds sketchy as fuck.
Yeah, that's
I'd
fair.
like to read
Really
the
sounds
article.
sketchy.
Yeah, send me the article on it, because I'd like to.
I think he posted it.
Okay.
In
I would probably
he
won't read
posted
it this very second because y'all are going through the conversation, but that'll be something that.
Yeah, but that's personally my take on it when it comes like to like I said, if you want to make like, when it comes like to AI art, if you're doing it like for the fuck of it or whatever, just for your own amusement as well, or just a shit post, I don't really care at that point. Like, I've seen a few AI shit posts that I see every now and then, or a few AI videos that are actually pretty funny. And it's like, I don't really care. If you're just doing it for the fuck of it, then knock yourself out. Like, go ahead. I don't really give a shit. It's when you're saying, oh, well, actually AI is going to, it's going to be a future, it's going to replace artists in general. It's when you're actually trying to replace the whole creative process that comes with it, in terms of trying to make like something cheap, or just, take a bunch of really stupid shortcuts to get ahead, that I have an issue with it.
And that's
because
fair.
like I said, because here's the thing, again, it's the genie's out of the box. We can denounce it all we want. It will be used in some areas, and it can have its uses to help certain process. But it's when you start like saying, actually, fuck the artists, fuck the writers, fuck the musicians, fuck the composers, fuck the voice actors. Like the voice actors are really the ones as well that are really getting affected by this too, because that's their whole job. It's their voice.
Yeah, and to an extent, I can understand that. But so I'm going to speak from my point of view on this because I can't speak for the rest of my community. You know, I run with some of the other people. I know you've had quite a few not altercations, but arguments with Keen. And
I mean,
Leaflit.
I mean, I wouldn't really like Leaflet more so. Keen, I don't really give like two shits and a fuck about Keen. I've shit posted, memed on him every now and then. But aside from that, I don't really know much about Keen other than he's an AI PNG tuber last I checked.
PNG tuber for now. His computer's kind of fucked, so he's dealing with some shit. But essentially, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I know who Keen is. Leaflet, I know who she is because she is within that rogue of gallery of like people in the VTubing scene that I actually tend to cover. Because I tend to shit on Rev Says Desu quite frequently. I tend to shit on freaking Straub quite frequently. Shibi is another one that I go after pretty often. So Leaflet is kind of like in my alley as well. I've made like one video on her, but honestly, it's like one video that was mostly about Straub more than anything else. But yeah, she's kind of in that alley of people who I tend to cover and go after.
Yeah. For me, the way that I see it is that, yes, like you said, the genie is out of the bottle, but there are things that artists can do or attempt to do. I'm not saying it will work, but you have to secure your job somehow, where it would logically make sense that you would take these steps to protect yourselves. But for some reason, and maybe it's hubris, or maybe I'm not looking at it in an emotional sense because I'm looking at it logically. I don't understand why artists are not taking steps to. They don't have to utilize it, right? But there are steps you can take with AI to protect yourself. I had the idea that much like how a let's say a voice actor will sell their voice, right? They'll sell the rights for their voice. They get paid so much for the ownership of their voice for a company to use it. Artists can do that. Some artists have done that, and I understand that the AI pisses them off and they might not want to do that. But if you want to keep yourself from essentially being quote unquote replaced, not saying this would ever happen, if an artist is astronomically good, there is no way in hell AI is going to replace them. That's just a fact. But I think you should do that and take the steps to secure yourself.
I mean, what do you mean, like, say, like, take the steps to secure yourself? Like, elaborate to me on that. What do you mean by that?
Okay, one of my ideas.
What do they need to take?
One of my ideas for this, right? And, like, stop me if you have a question or if you have a rebuttal to it. But in my eyes, if I were to sell, say, a style, if a company wants to use my style, I would make them commission art that they would need in order to train their AI for my style at a price, and I would ask for rights, right? So, like, if my art is being used, they have to pay me so much money in order to continue to use my style, in order to continue to hire me to train, to have my style on their platform. I would sell my services and make sure that I am secure, because before they would take it anyway. Now, if they're moving towards synthetic data, that might not happen.
Basically, like the voice actors who basically sold the rights to their voice for AI to use it, and they basically get like a commission or a certain percentage depending on how much people use it or whatever. But here's the thing with that. To some extent, yes, it could be a guy. And like, if they want to do that, if the artist wants to sell out themselves to an AI company in exchange for commissions, sure, whatever. You want to do that, sure, okay. But at what point as well, you also have to remember, if it's a big name artist or whatever, like, because digital necromancy is a thing too. That's also a thing that a lot of people tend to do. If a big name artist or a big name singer or a big name like a voice actor eventually dies, and they sold their rights to that AI company for people to use their likeness. So what? The company now just owns their likeness, their voice, their style for the rest of their days because they're now dead.
So there's a couple
Like,
of
that's
ways that they
yeah,
would
that's
do it.
another. That's kind of also another complicated thing too, because at that point now it's like, oh, I own this person's likeness or this person's voice or this person's specific art style because the original right owner is now dead.
See, so this actually was already an issue even before AI.
Yeah, but
This
that's
is where
already
contracts come into play. You would have to contract in a certain way. You would have to make sure that your estate, so your family, if you have family, you would need to make sure that they are secure in taking over that portion of your
again, the estate thing also, you also have to remember, eventually the estate also gets lost after a while, after X amount of times. Because at some point nobody owns the estate anymore. So it goes to who? It goes to the company who owns the rights to it. And again, if we're talking about actors in particular, at that point you're basically just doing digital necromancy at that point. You're just basically parading somebody's voice or somebody's likeness as a puppet, even though they're dead. So there's kind of an ethical question to it as well.
Yeah, that's true. But again, this is also an issue that happened before AI. AI is not like beholden to this issue. Like rights holders and things like that, it always gets caught up in business bureaucracy. I wouldn't have a solution for that since no one's had a solution for that for how many years now. I couldn't possibly even think of how we would go to combat that because I don't even know how we combat it now. If we can find a solution for it, then I would be all ears for that.
For art styles and whatever, it's a little bit different because now you're talking about an art style and not an actual personality. Then it's a little bit more complicated. But when it comes like to the human aspects of it, like the actors or voice actors, it's a little bit more touchy at that point. Because now you're not talking about like a style or a person's like style of doing work. You're talking about their actual likeness, their actual person.
Yeah, but then what do you do? Okay, so there's this thing, there's this show that my grandparents used to watch. I think it was The Young and the Restless. One of the actors on that show passed away. They used his likeness for years after the fact. I have no idea how that was a legal thing that they did, what deal they made with the estate of his family, how that went. But he was on that show well past his death. We would have to honestly look for the already established situations that have happened in the past to see how they were handled, see if we can make it better, or if there's any way to protect the human aspect of it, because it's already an issue even with human beings as a thing that already exists. These things have already happened. So at that point, we're going back to tradition of how do we fix it, and I don't know the answer to that. It's not unique to AI, at least to me, but we would have to figure it out there.
Jeff actually just brought up a very good question, like in the comments. People have recorded for voices generation long before AI. Yes, Jeff, but we're not talking about what they recorded in the past. We're talking about making new things using AI to produce stuff. That's kind of different. If you were just rehashing shit that they already created, that's not relevant to the topic. It's if you're starting to use their likeness and their personality and their voice to try and make new things out of it.
Which they've also
AI.
done that in the past before AI. Take, for example, the holographic, or not holographic, but hologram concerts with Michael Jackson. That wasn't done with the AI. His estate, I don't know if his estate was okay with that or not. But that's an example of that
The
happening.
hologram concerts, but weren't they like playing like old footage of him and like old like music that he had already had created?
They released a song. They released an album of music that he never released. He didn't even finish the music. They just finished it themselves somehow. I have no idea how they went about doing that. And then they did a concert tour with a hologram of him doing those songs. Now, I don't know how they would get a hologram for the new music, but they had it.
Yeah, and that's kind of when you actually talk. That's a little bit where it's a little iffy, and I think I know what you're talking about now because I remember people actually talking about it as well and saying it, bruh. Now that's digital necromancy at that point, but
yeah.
And anyways, just gonna move on like to another subject. Like we were saying, like artist should actually like do things like put in place measures to protect themselves. They kind of already do. Some of them already have like an anti-AI clause in their terms of service. So at times, so when you go to see them with a reference that is AI generated, they usually tend to turn around and say no, because they already have an anti-AI clause in their agreement, and you already used AI to generate that reference. So they just turn you around and say no, because at that point, who says you're not going to take their art and go put it into AI? Because again, it's in their terms of service, but that doesn't mean you're going to respect their terms of service.
And that's completely understandable. I can understand to that degree. And then when it boils down to that, it's like, okay, so they have an anti-AI. So it's either I come up with the reference myself or I find another artist. That's perfectly fine. None of us care about that. Typically, it's most of the time when it becomes an issue is if, like I told you when we had our thing on Twitter, if people are coming at us for just simply using it, not like we're taunting them with it. We're just using it, minding our own business, and then out of fucking nowhere, some V tweeters jumping down one of the members' throat. Then we have an issue. Or
yeah, like I said,
then there's a problem.
Okay, like I said, when people actually do that, like I said, like I personally, like if you're going to use your AI, by all means, use your AI all you want. Granted, you're going to get some antis that are going to shit talk you every now and then and just clown on you for it. Just like you'll have anti-AI bros do the same thing with artists and say, oh, that would look way better with AI, or oh, I fixed your art for you with AI, which I'm sorry, you do actually get people that do that out of like.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not denying that. That's
disrespect
not a thing that
as well. It's like I've had a few of them do that. But again, when I've seen a few AI bros saying, "Oh, we're not the ones coming in attacking people and saying that we don't like we're just here minding our own business." But in reality, no, some of you don't mind your own business. You come into people's replies, you take your art, and then you go and fucking adjust it with AI. So it's like, come on.
Here's the thing: like the vast majority of people who have become anti-AI, they're not anti-AI because some guy is making silly videos online. They're anti-AI because fucking OpenAI has flat out said, we're going to take all your jobs. We're going to do this and that. It's going to replace you. This is what we're going to do. Like they have been threatening the industry for a while. So you can expect people to be mad. And of course, people who are mad and retarded online are going to say things to anyone who's using the AI. Right, and it's going to go the same way.
And then it's going to happen the same thing on the other way, where the AI bros are just going to like retaliate with that and basically just attack people and And
Yeah, no,
it just
it's
creates a
fair.
vicious cycle at the end of the day. So I'm going to be honest with you, like if you're just using it for the fuck of it, for the sake of having fun, I don't care. Knock yourself out. Like just don't use it as a means like to fucking like outright like try and say, oh, AIs are going to replace you, or fuck off, like or just as a means to replace artists in general. It's like whatever. And me, it's when I actually get AI people who say, well, people who generate their stuff through AI, and then they call themselves actual artists because they made shit with AI. It's like, no, dude, you're not a fucking artist. Be quiet.
Well, a lot of the times, a lot of the people who are pro AI are artists. It doesn't seem like it, but that's true. As a matter of fact, I myself am an artist. Amateurish as I may be, I mostly focus on painting. Painting is what I do. I like painting on canvases. Digital art is kind of difficult for me because it's one, my hands are fucking huge, so I need a decent sized tablet in order to draw comfortably, and two, it's a weird area for me as someone who does normal paintings. I have two canvases right now that I'm planning on painting something. So the reason I use AI art is because I can see that, as you said earlier, it's not going to go away, and I'm trying to move forward to adapt into it. So I'm going to use it as a tool, not as a replacement. And I don't think artists can truly be replaced by AI unless some crazy leap in technology happens within the next year that is actually insane. There's no fucking way. One of my favorite.
I understand that you're
Yeah.
saying like now you're basically like you're saying that you're a painter or whatever, but at the same time you say like digital artists, like it's not really like your field. It's kind of a weird area for it. Why not, try to learn like how the software works, or maybe trying to adapt on how to use it like every
Oh,
other
I am.
artist does? Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, the problem. I don't know if you saw in your guys' Discord. I asked if anyone had a recommendation for a drawing tablet that was big enough for my hand.
Hold up. Maybe I could actually recommend you to someone. Hold up.
Because I was looking at a Huion 22, because it's pretty big from what I can see.
I'll tag her real quick in the Discord.
Yeah, I like drawing. I like painting. I like art. It's not I got into the AI art without any knowledge of anything. I've been doing art for years. The first things I started drawing were Dragon Ball Z characters when I was a kid. I love art, but I'm not going to pretend like this aspect is not what it is. It's a tool, not a replacement. Now, there are bad actors who will use it as a replacement, not a tool.
Okay.
But most of the people.
And those are the ones that people in the art community tend to have an issue with. Like those are the ones that they tend to have an issue with.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair, right?
So my
the
question
ones
is
that
now,
are trying to replace it.
Keen is of the same mindset for you when it comes to this, right? Or is he somewhat more like, I'm curious to know what his stance on this is.
His stance, so from the brief conversations I've had with Keen about the actual topic, is that his stance is somewhat similar to mine, that when it comes to doing AI art, you are using a tool, not a replacement for artists. And to the extent that he thinks, or at least from what I've understood by what we've talked about, that if actual artists start using the tool and start making things with the tool as is, a tool, not a replacement, then we can move forward and do cool shit. His mottos: do cool shit, make cool shit. But Keen, unlike me, I think believes that artists who are not good enough will drop off. I don't think that completely. I think that if you can adapt and become better, then
because
you
yo,
can
and again,
you can excel.
that's also another thing that I see a lot of AI bros basically say, like, oh, like most art, like this is going to root out the shitty artists from the good ones. Because here's the thing, most artists have to start somewhere. They all have to start at some point, and usually when they start out, their art looks like absolute fucking garbage. Nobody's going to deny that. But eventually they grow into their craft, they learn from other artists, they learn techniques, they learn their own different styles. And eventually they grow into their craft until their art finally reaches a point where it's like actually good and like their own unique style.
Yeah.
So that's the thing too. So if Keen thinks that bad art, this is going to cause bad art, AI is going to cause bad artists to drop off. I hate to break it to him, man, but he's wrong. Like, because again, like the ones that are actually like dedicated to it, that are dedicated to bettering their craft, they will stick around,
So
and they will grow
we
into
can
it eventually.
we can already see the kind of falsities of that idea that the bad artists will fall off in the fact that like the AI bro idea of you're an AI bro and you can be an artist, right? We'll go with that. I don't know where it stands on that. Like I agree it can enhance your art. I actually heavily agree in using it for concept art and things like that. But look at the channels that have millions of subscribers in those senses, where it's just endless slop that they can push out faster than anyone can see. Like
But you also have to remember,
your chances
you
of
also have to,
being an AI artist who uses it as a tool right now is and getting your art recognized is way less than the slop channel that pumps out fruit on an island over and over.
but you also have to
That's
remember a
true.
lot of these swap channels, like there's a whole like ecosystem behind them as well. Because what they do is that they buy these channels that already have like some level of a subscriber count or a following to them, and then they basically just take over like that.
Yeah, but they're
Like
still
there's a whole
getting
ecosystem to
views.
it. There's a whole
Right.
thing with it as well. But yes, you're absolutely right. A lot of these AI swap channels to you versus to what they're mass producing to what like
And then you
we're
look at
basically saying where hey, it should just be a tool and that's it. You're absolutely right.
is
And
still
those are the
shit
bad
that
actors that I think Solinster is
Melanova.
talking about.
Hold on. I do want to say something. Hey, Melanova and Zombie, he did pull up that one comment. We haven't been reading yours because I've been letting him talk, but I have been reading your comments, and maybe at a later point we'll make some discussion about it. All right. But anyway, sorry. Continue.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Even us as AI tech bros, we think that shit is garbage. We we think that like the Love Island shit, the daily AI slop garbage, it's trash. But I can say that about a fuck ton of human-made videos that are on here, like the Mr. Beasts and his many different clones getting millions of views because stupid kids are watching dumb shit. I think it's all the same in my head, right? Like I'm not going to outperform these people because they got the audience capture of people who just want to consume daily slop.
I mean, drama slop as well is kind of it's like its own thing at that point, but
yeah.
details.
So what I can only do, and I would encourage artists to do this as well, is fucking grind. Grind, do cool shit, and you will be recognized, even if it's small, by people. And that's kind of what the AI bros are doing. They're just doing their own shit, right?
But-
and there are some bad actors out there who
Look-
outright attack other artists. I'm not going to say that doesn't happen.
But here's the thing, though. Cool shit. When you say AI bros do cool shit, do you think like again, when you compare what AI bros do compared to actual artists, like it takes time for them to do their stuff. Where the AI bros can just put in like a few prompts and get like a thing generated for their stuff. Do you think that the AI bros should be monetized for the stuff that they produce? And when I said the stuff that they produce, mostly like with Gen AI or their little shitty animations that like Gen AI animations, do you think they should profit from that?
It depends on the amount of effort for me. So
On the amount of effort,
that's
but again,
How do you decide the amount of effort, though?
So here's the thing. This is where the common misconception about Gen AI comes from that I think people don't understand. You can produce AI with just a few prompts. It's not going to look good. You're going to get the same quality as the shit, like the fruit shit. The amount of work that I've seen being put into the actual projects is insane. I've been working on my own major project for a music video for a month, and I have less than 30 seconds for a 5-minute song. And that's because of the amount of how do I put this? The amount of technical work that goes into prompting these.
And how much time you said? Like a few hours, you said, by putting in like the prompts? A month.
It's been a month. It's been a month, and I have less than 30 seconds.
But isn't there like some limitation as well for AI? Like they can only like produce like X amount of like seconds or of a consistent clip or a consistent soundbite as well?
It depends on what AI you're using, actually.
Yeah, well,
there are some that will and can produce minute-long videos, but they cost money. They cost a lot of money sometimes. Now, you can do these things for free, but it's going to take a while. And not only that, but if the gen doesn't come out well, then you're starting from square one. You have to readjust your prompt. These are prompts that are like thousands of characters, hundreds of words long of detail. It's not just a straight line of stuff. When I started out doing the shit, I would just put in a few lines and think that I was going to get like a good gen. That is completely not true.
Okay. Again, would you compare what you're doing with AI by putting in prompts anywhere near the same amount of difficulty or skill or time consumption or skill like requirement as actually learning how to properly shade, how to properly draw lines, like how to properly learn like proportions of people and draw proportions correctly? Would you put that on the same level?
No, and this is mostly due to time. What is the difference between AI and actual artists is time. Skill is completely thrown out the window because AI will immediately make skill an unnecessary thing. But time is what is important. And the amount of time an actual artist puts into their craft is significantly more than AI. And AI will never meet that standard.
Okay, so basically, but again, so at that point, I'm going to go bring it back because artists, with the amount of time, with the amount of like skills and the amount of like knowledge they have to acquire in order, or even to build, to even like get into their craft, or at least get to a point where they can actually like sell their work. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to that, and versus AI, why should AI prompters like be able to make money off the AI prompt stuff?
I'll say something about this because I have disagreements with you on it. One, I mean, if people buy your product, they buy your product. That's just how that works together. And
they buy your
if
product.
If you want to talk about like to me, it doesn't matter how much time you put into the work, right? It's you can work your ass off as an artist and put in hours and hours and hours, and if the final product is shit, the final product is shit. It didn't matter. Your hours don't matter to the person who wants the art on that side. And if AI could generate anything that was on par with, good artists and other things like that, I would say that like the end product will speak for itself. I don't know that that's ever going to happen. I haven't seen any AI yet that didn't feel soulless or look the same as every other AI, like Leaflits.
But that's also another thing that I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Like from the hours point, I think that's complete loss. All that matters is the end product. Same thing with like anything video games, all that.
Again, but with the end product, and I'm going to interrupt you on that because you also have to remember when it comes to art in particular, there's like some level of human expression to it. Like my question is at that point, how much? Like the question isn't whether we should ask how much is AI like. Are AI artists is how much of how much AI is permittable to be used in a work for it to be considered a valid and noteworthy piece of art. That's the part of how much of it should we be able to use? Like that's I think the question that people should be starting to ask themselves. It's not whether or not AI is valid or not, is how much of it makes a work valid.
Okay, so it essentially boils down to, for you, how much of the human expression is there as opposed to how much of it is strictly AI.
The machine, exactly.
Yeah, it's the machine. So for me, from what I've seen, what I've done with AI, what I've seen other people do with AI, it's completely down to the amount of effort taken to make that product. So when it comes to the actual gens, that's only the start, right? Then you have every other process after that that is mostly, if not all, human, which is the creation of the end product that you're trying to get to. So, for example, have you ever seen a Skybrowse music video?
No.
Not.
Okay, Skybrowse actually has a background in the industry and a degree, not in art, or not in art, but in the industry that art took part of. He has a background in this, not from an AI perspective, but from a traditional perspective. The things that he produces, though they look like AI, yes, but you see his experience in that field done in his work. No one does it like Skybrowse does. I'm going to be real. The stuff that he makes is insane. And I've seen him post what his breakdown for how he structures his videos. It just looks like a normal spliced together music video, as if you were looking at an editor doing work, because that's what he's doing. He's editing. And this is where I say that the human nature of it comes into play. This is something AI cannot do yet properly whatsoever, is editing, splicing, and putting together videos in a coherent sense whatsoever. That part you have to do on your own. Even for some of the stupid shit that I've done on my channel with my AI stuff, the only things that's AI is the image and the music. I wrote my music with some assistance, sure, but I wrote my own music. I put the video together myself. I have to hand do all of the lyrics for all of my videos on my own, which is a pain in the fucking ass, because whenever you do the lyric profile, it's supposed to match up. It does not. So I have to match up every single word myself in order to produce that. That's the part that people don't see, that they think AI is doing for us. It's not.
Okay, so basically it's like similar to how, like, if you want me to give you like an example to how it's similar in my field as a writer, formatting. The whole fucking formatting and page edit and line editing, that part is the pain in the ass. It's basically you have to do that manually to actually get like the proper page structure that you want. And sometimes it can be a pain in the ass.
Absolutely. You have no idea what the last music video I made, which was to cover the shit that's happening with the government on both sides, trying to push the Kids Act in order to fuck with our online anonymity. That video took me 4 hours to structure properly because it kept breaking and I had to keep rewriting everything. The only part of that video was the image, which I had to get a loop done myself, which took almost all of my my tokens to generate a proper loop. It took
That's another thing else all annoys the ever living shit on me is the fucking tokens and their stupid ass fucking credits.
I hate it. I would love to switch to a local thing that's run on my own computer that I can train myself with my own art. It's a pain in the ass to get it to set up because none of it is as good as it could be. However, Nova, who's in the chat right now, Knocked Nova, he's been doing cool shit with getting his own local AI up and running, and has been making cool shit with it. So I'm looking to maybe switch off to that and do that shit myself. The token thing pisses me the fuck off.
I think that's
I'm not gonna lie.
thing you say, because the tokening's only going to get worse. Most of the big AIs have canceled their subscription models and
I know.
and increased the.
I mean,
So hearing that users want to find their own methods to get away from it is very interesting. I actually think that could be a more reliable way, I think, than these huge companies that are trying to make billions off of a market.
Basically. But at that point, it's not really like you're basically just going to code your own shit at that point. Which, let's be real, in and of itself, that is kind of a skill itself, which...
True.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm working on a bigger project to make something which was inspired by what Leaflit did, but it's mostly for gaming. It's going to be for gaming and music, for asset creation, for pixel games. So like pixel art games, I want to create something similar to like RPG Maker, but that has everything in house. I want it to have a MIDI in there. I want it to have the ability to gen your environment, your effects, your pixel art, all in one thing. But I also want it to be friendly for traditional artists and video game makers.
Well, basically,
so that
at that point, you're basically just creating like your own game engine. At that point, like let's be honest.
That's what I want to do.
Well, at that point, like I get that there's like some like AI stuff or like more so tech stuff related to that, but wouldn't you like consider that like similar to what people are already doing with like creating their own in-house game engines, like or whatever else, like what game studios are already doing? Like how much of that is really AI?
A lot for me right now, because
coding?
How much of it is coding and how much of it is AI? So this is where we get into a thing called vibe coding, right? And vibe coding
that's something I heard about Vidal. That's something I heard
about Vidal. Simon, let him finish.
Yeah. Vibe coding is a patchwork thing that you can do in order to get your system up and running. But from there, I believe you need to do the coding yourself, right? And this is something that AI can maybe assist you with, but it's not something that AI will be able to completely do on its own, at least yet. Now, the video game companies, whether people like to admit it or not, they are working with AI to produce their stuff. And eventually, it's going to get to a point where AI is going to be good enough to start writing its own code, and then they're going to have maybe code monkeys on the back end to smooth out any loose ends. But that's already something that's a foregone conclusion. They've been doing that for years. So at this point, we have to get ourselves to learn the tech. And another reason why I think AI being more prevalent is never going to not be a thing, and we have to adapt, is because it's not just a US based thing. other countries such as China, Russia, they're all doing their own AI projects, programs, and they're going to advance the industry no matter what. China is not going to stop advancing AI no matter who says what, whether it be for tech, whether it be for medicine, whether it be for, let's say, space programs. None of it. And this includes generative AI, no matter what. So if you don't do it, they'll do it. They'll do it better, and then eventually they will overtake you.
See,
And
I
again,
don't agree with that statement because the products that China has tried to put out, they tried to jump into the chip market, and while they have a place in their chip market, their chips have never been able to compete with the ones coming out of what's that country that they want back?
The Taiwan.
Taiwan.
They've never
Yeah,
been
Taiwan.
able to do it. You look at their military programs. Their military programs are terrible.
They got
Their
all,
vehicles can't
because
do
again,
what
they
they
got
want
all
to do.
the freaking mineral, like the technology and their whole
Yeah,
economy is based around that.
Yeah, but China's just an example. There are other countries like Taiwan, for example, that will also dig into this.
Okay.
It's more about whether or not you can keep up with the market of what is
But at that
being
point,
invested in.
we're actually like
So-
going off the topic of AI art. Now we're just going into AI for other type of fields. Like if you want to talk about AI in the medical field or AI in like other like more like
You don't want to talk about AI in the medical
like,
field.
no.
Trust me. AI
Point-
has caused.
actually, yeah, I know.
there's-
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the Google
they've
stuff.
actually caused. There's been like some of the AI machines that are assisting surgeons and stuff like that have caused deaths that we haven't seen in decades since the machines came out to do it. So AI is kind of failing in that regard, and a lot of hospitals are going back to.
And that's
the way it
also
worked
kind of
before.
another.
In a
kind
lot of
of
cases, it'll even tell them where the wrong places. Like AI, if you really look down at AI as a product, overall, it is not doing well. Harvard did a study on the jobs that have been replaced, and 95% of them have failed. They're outsourcing to overseas work to make up for it. When it comes to like code, they're also finding that AI tends to cause more work for the people who do use it, especially like around coding and things like that. AI can't do, ChatGPT can't do math. If you go over 6 digits, anything over 6 digits, I believe it is, it will give you the wrong answer because it's not using a calculator. It's trying to scrape the answer from the internet. And when you tell
But
it
again,
that it's
here's
the
the-
wrong answer,
Let's be honest. Also, ChatGPT has been like on an shittification path for a very long time. At this point, it's like the most shittiest one of the bunch at this now. I
ChatGPT is
believe.
actually the standard. Like that's like Grok is considered the worst AI as of this.
So it's actually that it's so funny about this. Grok AI, from what I've seen, when it comes to information, has been better than GPT. But the inverse for image generation, for whatever reason, their image generation is way better for GPT than it is for Grok, and it's not even close. Now, this is the thing. When I'm doing information for GPT and Grok, I notice that GPT will hold itself back from the sources that it's needing to draw from to get that information. Grok does not. But what you need to do when using these things for information is what you should be doing wholesale even before AI existed, which is double checking your sources and making sure all of your sources are up to par, which is a skill people for some reason have not been able to retain.
People have never had that skill, I would argue.
Yeah, like
But here's
people
the thing: if I'm using
people
an
doing their
AI
research and picking their sources has never been something people tend to do. Like, there's a reason why a lot of like drama tubers tend to get their shit wrong 90% of the time.
Yeah. So.
Or like.
Here's my thing on it. If I have to do all the research myself anyway, why would I use a LLM that could possibly be wrong or have hallucinations?
Well, what you do, so what you do is instead of like wholesale searching for the information, what I normally do is I'll ask Grok a question. and Grok will bring that question. There is a way that you can get Grok to think, quote unquote, think harder. You tell it to, or command it to, think harder. It will pull up more sources. From there, you ask it which is the most relevant source for this information that you are providing me. Then, what gives you that source, you read it, double check it. And what I normally do is I ask for Grok to tell me, is there anything that contradicts this information and is it valid? It will search for it, and then from there it will build a list. And all of the sources Grok pulls from are listed whenever you ask it these questions. GPT never provides me these sources when I ask it to, unless I outright demand it. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I have to call GPT an idiot, for a lack of a more harsh term, in order for it to listen to whatever the fuck I told it to do.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you
dude.
hear that,
Okay,
like, that process you just explained?
War, I'm getting some Smash JT vibes here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different subject. So, like,
That's a
what you're telling
different
me is, like,
subject.
I don't see why you should have to tell Grok or OpenAI or any LLM that they need to be smarter. They should be finding you the answers you need. On top of it, like, it sounds like a lot of work for me to just type into Google, which now Google's using a ton of AI as well.
And again,
The actual
that's not
answer that
something
I
that
want, or the actual data that I want to search for it. One big problem
Well, the
we have.
reason.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no. My apologies for cutting you off. The reason I do this is because if you do that through Google, let's say you search for the information through Google, who is to say that the information that you're reading is 100% correct anyway? If there's anything that's not contradicting it, you have to start building a profile of everything that will take even longer than it does for, say, Grok to just do it for you with one sentence of make sure you cross-check all of these.
But here's the thing as well with like Google search AI, like, or Google summary, like AI summaries, is that if you ask it a specific question, it will give you one answer. But if you reword your question and or go into more details about it, it will give you a completely different answer to something that you're actually more so looking for. Because I'll give you an example. When I was looking up Neurosama to some extent, and the people involved, when I typed in how many people were involved in the creation or of Neurosama or in Neurosama in general, it just said Vidal, and that's it. And I already knew that was bullshit because there was a bunch of artists that were linked there. So I reworded my question slightly differently, and then I got the answer that I wanted.
So yeah,
in the beginning,
at that point, I would just say when it comes like to using AI for research, just do your own fucking research at that point. Just go get the sources yourself from different outlets or different like areas of the internet and build your own freaking like opinion from there on out. That's just my take on it. Like, you shouldn't even be using AI for this type of bullshit.
Well, for me, see, that I can understand, but for me, in my head, it's no different than me doing the same thing through Google. It just takes less time because I would cross-reference it anyway. I'm not going to ask Grok or GPT or whatever other one a question and then just take the first thing it gives me wholesale.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people, that's what they tend to do. They just take the first question they get, they take it wholesale without doing their research beyond reading the AI summary.
Yeah, but that's what they'll do that with the first website they see on Google. The same thing.
Same thing. But then again, then you have some people that will actually, but again, it also depends because websites tend to pop up differently depending on which region you're in as well. So that's when you kind of have to look at different websites, different sources, and see if they have a bias or if they don't have a bias or if they're more so neutral. Like, there's all, when it comes to research, I don't think we should be using AI to come to our own conclusions, because at that point we're just becoming dumber and just becoming like relying on AI to give us our own fucking opinions. Like, just think for yourself at that point and do your own fucking research.
But the thing is, the AI is only giving you the information that it's already finding on the internet.
Yeah, it's already finding, but
So-
some of the information can
Hold
also
on,
be
hey,
fucking bullshit or bogus.
Let him finish.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's the same. It's literally just the same thing. The asking Grok is literally just asking Google, except Grok is doing the searching on the websites instead of you individually clicking on them.
So
At least logically, that's how I see it. I could do the same thing by going through different websites, reading the articles, and continuing to over and over and over again, or I could ask Grok to just, hey, give me the most relevant sources on this topic, double check those sources, give me the links for those sources so I can read them. If I need to read them, give me the breakdown of it and compile all this data into one place. Then I can search those sources myself through the links it's given me, and then I can ask it whether or not there's any more relevant data on the subject. It's just, in my opinion, using Google, but faster.
So I'll come up with that. There's a problem with that thought process in it because they've seen where Grok will take even simple answers and get, or AI in general, because I think it was actually OpenAI that had this.
Yeah,
that I
well, you
saw
also
this
have to
problem
remember
with.
too.
Well, wait. What happened is a bikes shop started using OpenAI to try and help it with some of its products and things like that, and a lot of it went to like bike parts and different things of it. Well, it kept hallucinating and giving him the wrong answer, and he knew it was the wrong answer. So he would then ask, so he started testing it. He asked it again, hey, that's the wrong answer. Can you do this? And then it would give him a different wrong answer. So it's not as simple as like they're just scoping the internet. The software like does scrape from the internet, but it also tries to come to some conclusion on its own that isn't just the raw data that you would get like with going on Google.
Hey, War, EGAD is in the waiting room.
EGAD? Okay. Well, EGAD, are you on positive? EGAD's a pretty positive AI guy. Do you mind him coming in?
I mean, from what I've seen, he tends to be like kind of neutral, but yeah, this is kind of someone else we could actually bring in to like talk about this a little bit more because he has opinions on that too.
Yeah. If it starts to turn into like a slap fest and there's too many people, I'll kick someone out.
All right.
What's up, EGAD?
Actually, I just started listening. I was doing something else, but what was I guess catch me up just real briefly on.
We were talking about AI art and the different importance of kind of like where it stands ethically, where it stands in the world. People selling their voices and stuff like that. Now we've kind of gotten into the core of like ChatGPT and this Silas. Is that Silence? I forget how you pronounce your name.
Solence.
Solence.
Or you can just call me Sol for short.
I'll just call you Sol for sure because I'll forget Solence probably in about 10 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of like the problem with AI comes down to like a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about is hallucinations. And it used to be Sam Altman used to say we're right around the corner from fixing hallucinations.
Well, and you also have to remember like that's also another thing I want to also bring up, like hallucinations too, because you have to remember like some of the sources that like Grok pulls from tends to also be kind of bullshit as well. Like it always, like Grok clearly has a bias too, because hey, it's Twitter, it's Elon Musk's Twitter.
Yeah.
So obviously Grok is going to have a bias.
Yeah.
Huge
well,
bias.
Here's the thing, like with that, like that incorrect information or hallucinations, Sam Altman has changed his position to hallucinations are just part of AI, and we'll just have to do.
Wow.
When you say hallucinations, what are you talking about?
Hallucinations are when a generative AI of some sort just kind of makes something up that's usually incredibly wrong. So it could be like a good example of that is there was a couple of lawyers who, and I already said this once on stream, a couple of lawyers that used ChatGPT for a court case where they were defending someone, and what ChatGPT did is it made up case law that didn't exist.
Ooh.
I remember this.
Yeah. So, and that's still been a problem up until then. It's called a hallucination, where it creates something out of thin air to present it to you as fact. There's other things that are hallucinations, but it's kind of a thing where like the leaders of AI were like, oh no, we're just around the corner from this breakthrough to end it. To, well, it's just part of it.
Well, I think that the technology is as there's two edges to this sword. Is one is you get a lot of people who use this technology, and it would be fine if they did that, and you had a public who were more discerning and who were able to kind of tell like, oh, this is just not this is not true, this is false, this is we're able to discern through it. I think that's the second edge of the sword is that the problem with AI isn't actually AI itself, it's actually people. And I think what is not being addressed well, it is kind of being addressed. Did you see that guy who got up in front of Congress and basically said that most I guess for Gen Z are actually on a lower functioning level than previous generations because they're using technology. So technology in general and this inability to discern, I have where I work at, I have two Gen Z guys who work with me, and both of them hate AI like with a passion.
Mm-hmm.
But what's funny is they can't really tell what's real and what's not all the time.
Yeah. There was actually a study done recently on AI, and they took like a few people. They took a control group that was learning without using AI, and then a control group that was learning with AI. And they found that the brain function of the people who are using AI was far less than those that weren't, because they were just
Well,
looking
that's
at the
one thing
answers
too.
with it.
But yeah, that's
and-
one thing too. But then they have the other argument of like, again, it's like you also see like the whole boomer argument of it, where they tend to fall for a lot of this AI shit as well.
I mean, boomers will fall for
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Like, as people get
I
old,
think-
they fall for tricks. So
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's it's not just boomers though. I think it's
Yeah.
people in general.
Yeah.
And it's another thing that you have to keep in mind too is the tech. Even if when we talk about AI art, here's the other thing about art is art requires not only the person to create something but also requires an audience. And if the audience can't tell the difference, and it'd be no different than me taking a famous painting and repainting it, and then telling people this is the real thing. Well, if they don't have an eye of discerning, they're going to think it's real art. So, and at that point, that's the other kind of worrisome thing. Harmful Opinions brought up a great point about that too, where it's like, suppose you just you do something by hand, and maybe 10% of it is AI. Is it art at that point? What if it's 20%? What if it's just 5%? You're gonna have to like, yeah.
We were kind of like actually talking about that at some point. Like, it's like how much of it is actually like how much AI in the field is too much AI, and how much of it can we use for it to be considered a valid piece of art or a valid creation made more with human intent than machine.
Well, here's the thing with that.
We kind of brought that out at some point.
We can be a little overpowering, Soul. So if you want to jump in, just jump in.
Oh no, it's very interesting. He brought up the thing Harmful Opinion said. Don't like the guy, but that statement is interesting because the inverse did happen on Twitter. Someone took a famous painting, posted it, and said, "Hey guys, I genned this. What do you think?"
Yes, you know it is.
People got pissed.
Yeah.
Until he revealed it was the real painting. He didn't gen anything, and he got angry for no reason. And these were artists. They should have been able to discern that. They didn't.
I'd have to see that one. I haven't heard that case, but that'd be interesting if that's the truth. Yes, Kinoflex, this
It's
is
funny as fuck.
pro AI versus anti AI. Going back to what Egad
I was
said
gonna
about
say
like
that-
how much is considered art, whether it's 10%, 20%. I don't think there's a line that you can discern like in the grass of where that should be. So I don't know the analysis. Like for me, I think the best option you could give is a tag, like, hey, this is made with AI.
Or at
like
least made like with
Steven's.
some AI assistance at that point.
Yeah,
I may.
That's what I have for my album. For the so I'm selling the album I made, and I'm upfront and honest about it that this is made with Suno, with help from for lyrics, but I write my own lyrics. I'm upfront and honest about it.
Good. That's, I think what anyone should be. My whole argument for like the people who don't want it to say like AI was made with this is like if it's a good product, why does it matter? Because then you can just prove that things with
Yeah, but at the same time, should you be like this is another issue I have with AI? Should we be able to like to monetize like AI generated like music, art, and whatever?
can,
Should we
like-
be able to monetize that?
I mean, who was it? Nova or the other one talked about it. Like the banana. Should you be able to tape a banana to a fucking canvas and sell it, right? Someone called it
that.
art.
That still pisses me off to this day.
I'll tell you right now,
how
that's rich people.
much money was made off of that. That's insane to me. It's
6.2
money laundering.
million
I think it's money laundering, but I'm not going to get into it.
It's okay.
I
So
mean,
it's not
again-
necessarily money laundering, but what the rich do is they buy art almost like it's an investment, right? Because art isn't generally going to lose investment, or it's not going to lose value. At best, it can only go up. There's actually there was a website I almost joined at one point that the whole point of the website was to be able to buy a piece of a painting. So like it's a group buying the painting. The website controls it, and you can say, "I'm going to put $20 down." And
you know,
What, like you're
actually-
shareholding a fucking painting?
yep,
Okay, hold
shareholding a
up.
fucking painting.
Well, again, they tend to didn't they like do that with actual like pieces like Van Goghs and whatever to some extent too?
Yeah. This has all been done with like.
That's
all
not like
sorts
that's
of
not
art.
new. That's not new. They've always been doing that for a while now.
I didn't know anything about this. Is news to me. That's insane.
But I'm just going, yeah, Kino. Honestly, what I 100% agree with you on that. Like, yeah, like it's not going away, but it's like if we're going to like appropriate ways to use it, we should like actually like appropriate ways to properly use it without harming
So-
actual like creatives.
I agree that it's probably not going away, but I would almost say that when the crash happens, because it's coming, like you can see it
Oh, yeah.
happening in real time, is that the government is probably going to heavily regulate it.
Mhm.
At one point.
And again, here's the thing, like, and that's the thing too. That I'm also going to. It's going to be interesting to see like how the AI bro community reacts to that when eventually, because at some point they're going to have to regulate that because they can't just let like the stuff go unchecked as it is right now.
That's what I want, actually, because I feel like
Okay.
like,
Okay, so the
So-
AI bro,
Hold on,
the AI
hold on.
bro.
Let him finish. I want to listen to what he says.
okay, because see, all right, it's the wild west of AI right now, and it's causing a lot of divide in spaces. What I think should happen, in my opinion, and I feel like we should come together to do this, both pro AI and normal artists, to help find a way to properly regulate AI, generative AI, for the betterment of both sides. I've always had this opinion. I've never discussed it outside of in my own headcanon, that it would make sense that if you want to make the space better and protect it, that you should work with AI and get it regulated so that it's better for everyone. That's what I think should be done.
And here's the thing, that's also like, again, like I find it interesting that you're bringing that up. Like I'm not sure how much of this is like talked in like AI bro space, but in the creative artist space and like in the general creative space, that's what they want as well. They're not asking for it to outright get banned or whatever because the genie's out of the bottle. They're asking it for it to get regulated or at least to better protect themselves so that they can keep doing what they enjoy or what they built their like careers around.
See, that's the thing. I've never seen that argument. The only argument I've ever seen from the anti-AI side is that generative AI should not exist. If you use it, you're pretty much Hitler.
No, but
yeah.
And that's where you're wrong, because if you actually listen to the other side, that's not what they are asking. They're asking for protection. Then you do have some of them that will say, no, it's bad, it needs to all be gone. You will get people.
Those are the only voices I hear. If I ever heard anyone saying it needs to be regulated, but should, and it should still exist, I would agree with them 100%. But I only ever see the people saying that it should be wiped off the face of the planet. I never see anyone saying if generative AI was regulated so that it can protect both sides and make things fine, then they're fine with it. I've never seen that opinion on the opposite side.
Well, that's
or my side, to be quite honest.
That's a product of the internet itself and the algorithm showing because I can guarantee I've never heard an AI bro talk the way that you're talking now in a more like I would consider you moderate AI. What's going on, Speeding? So that's a product of the algorithm and places like X that are going to feed you the most reactionary stuff that they can get.
Yeah, the most hyperbolic.
Yeah, the most hyperbolic stuff.
It's good for concept stuff. I think that's the thing is if you have a concept you're working with in your head and you want to create something real quick, generative AI is good for that. But I think if you're going to take that concept farther, you need to go beyond generative AI because it is limited. It's extremely limited and it's derivative as well. I think that there's stuff that might be unique to your vision and that's not going to, I don't think AI can actually do that. I think there's stuff that is like you can't read your mind. You can't read whatever picture it is in your head. So
yeah. Also AI, like our current state of AI is not, it's not really artificial intelligence, right? It's in no way, shape, or form actual intelligence. It's not creating something from,
I see it on the same way. Oh, what was the name of that other one that Google did like a few years back that ended up getting like just canned because people were like just like corrupting it at that point and having it say some of the most
you're talking about that AI that they said went evil. I think that amounts to the same thing that happened to Grok, where it just hit an algorithm that was batshit crazy.
Yeah, and people
and then we got the beautiful world.
Crazy.
Yeah,
you mean based Grok fucking for Mecha Hitler?
Yeah, I was so sad when they took down
like Mecha Hitler. That's what it was called. The one for Grok. That was Mecha Hitler.
Mecha Hitler was kind of some of the funniest shit I have ever fucking seen. It's a shame it got deleted.
Well, you know what's interesting? I was even thinking about this with it's funny enough, Anthony Grambulia, Wargaming Dad, is the concept of media literacy. I was actually trying to apply this to AI because somebody had this thing about. So we have the alphabet, right? So if I basically told you the alphabet A, B, C, D through Z, right? Suppose I inserted a random letter, it was a weird letter you've never seen before. And it has a weird name. It's like, bleh, if I did that just at random, but I did it naturally, you'd think, what is this? What are you doing? And I'd say, wait a minute, this is the alphabet. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is the alphabet. And it's like, well, no, because it's not the one we learned. It's like, it's common sense. And you're like, well, no, it's common sense for me as well. I think when we talk about that, we were talking about AI. I think almost people think AI works like the alphabet. I think AI works more like the more this is an alternate reality where we can actually just start adding letters to it, and that'll be true for one day, but it won't be true the next day. Where we just keep on doing that. I think I'm trying to. Do you see what I'm saying here? The fact that
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and I was going to say wargaming. The reason I add this to Anthony Grambulia is that the media literacy crowd, the way they function is going back to that analogy. You get someone who's a chud, who's a right winger, and maybe they start to edgy post, right? They'd make edgy posts, and really what they're doing is they're just doing this because it's perturbing it's like owning the libs in that sense. It's they don't actually believe in anything they say, but they know this is going to perturb the libs or the leftists or people like Anthony, because people like
So
Anthony.
an actual grifter.
Well, yeah. Well, see, the way this works is that somebody like Anthony will look at like, let's say they look at Wolfenstein. They look at a scene in Wolfenstein where they got the Austrian painter and he's reacting a certain way. They won't look at that as satire, right? They don't understand satire. They think that this is media literacy. Why would anybody want to be like this? And it's like, well, don't you understand? Like, the people on the right or the chuds, they act that way because it upsets you, because they like it, but they would never act that way in real life. Like Warhammer 40K, the Space Marines and the Imperium, they act a certain way and it's satire. And it's like they would never act that way, but people signal that way. So that's what I was thinking about AI too. It's like I think AI is in a state where the language models and everything actually acts a certain way, but it can't. It's like being able to tell what's satire, what's not. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I think the problem with like AI right now in its current iteration is it's designed by corporations, and what corporations want you to do, they want you to use it. So they want the AI to tell you things that you want to hear, very much so.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is the AI can't. If you try to ask the AI between like what is satire, what's not, I don't think an AI can actually, even its language models can't actually articulate that.
Yeah,
That was something I noticed. So that was something I noticed too with its language models and everything. And I think that's trouble because we live in a time where real people actually don't understand satire. They'll take certain things literally or not, and not figuratively. And I think that's part of the problem is when you're using these language models, you're thinking, okay, is this language model based on like actual lived experiences and reality, or is it actually based on a hyper reality that we've created on the internet that actually isn't true to life? But anyway.
Like the most extreme of a situation that normally would not happen, but in this circumstance it's happening for whatever reason. It's not real.
Yeah,
I mean the TLDR, like, and like if you really like want to boil it down, log the fuck off, go touch some fucking grass.
Well, actually,
I could just generate grass and touch it, motherfucker.
What's funny is that I remember another commentator talking about that exact thing. Was like, we have gyms, right? We didn't used to have gymnasiums because most of what we did, in regular life was like manual labor. So we wouldn't have needed a gymnasium. But now that we're just like kind of sitting around, most jobs are done like in an office building, or there's not too much manual labor. We're just standing around. We need to kind of keep in shape. So we now have a facility for that. It's a gymnasium. There's a guy who said he thinks what's going to happen is they're going to have the same kind of thing, but it's going to be for people who are trying to get away from their cell phones and try to actually, live in the world for a bit.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, train their bodies and their minds so they're
not part of a public park. It's called a public park, man.
Yeah.
It's the dead internet theory that eventually, there won't actually be anyone online anymore. It'll just be bots talking to bots.
Dude, dead internet theory. Like, what do you mean theory? It's not a theory anymore. It's actual fucking reality now, because most of the shit you see on the internet is fucking fake anyways.
Well, fun thing, you want to hear something interesting that people who are, they're not anti-AI, but they're AI guys who are like they're doing the research and things like that now. OpenAI in itself has started getting its information and its sources from other AI like Grok. So you now have
so now it's
eating itself. because
Yeah,
it's
it's
if
basically doing the exact same thing where it's like that was kind of predictable at some point. Like we already knew it was going to
well,
do
here's the
that
thing.
at one point.
If Grok hallucinates something and that thing is not true, and then um, OpenAI picks it up as truth and can give some kind of source to it, well,
And then
what
after
kind of
that, it's
thing could
going to start
happen?
hallucinating as well and making up its
Yeah,
own
it's an
bullshit.
interesting thing to look at.
But here's the thing, they can't make their own source because the sources come from like a website, right? So if you ask it for a link to that source, a active place where that source exists, then it has to find it. It can't just produce like, okay, so I hallucinated this. Now I have to build an entire website to convince you the thing I hallucinated exists. It can't do that.
Well, in that case, it's going to tell you it got confused there, and then after that, it's going to tell you, oh, hey, actually,
Yeah,
no, I
that's kind of
fucked
how
up
it gets
there.
around it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to be like, hey, stop being a fucking dumbass. Give me the actual links, and then I go to them. I mean, that's me. That's me. I know that not everyone's going to do that. I know the layman who is using this technology will see the first thing that it says and take it as gospel.
Yeah,
I
and
understand that.
Oh,
Oh no,
well,
that was it. That was it. That was it.
So the problem is like, yeah, you're a user of AI, so you understand that. Like I look into AI, so I understand that if I'm going to use it, I need more information. But the vast majority of users aren't. They're just going to ask AI as if it was Google, and AI is going to give them something. And in some cases, it could end up being very dangerous, especially if someone's asking for a mixture of stuff and it hallucinates. And I mean, this is hyperbolic, but it hallucinates making mustard gas for a clean instead of, or like making mustard gas instead of making Windex or something like that, right?
Oh no.
I
Fucking
mean,
making. I did
can,
that by mistake when I was a teenager.
Oh
can I
no.
actually can I actually bring like a little like unrelated to what we're talking about? Soul, you actually kind of like sound like our friend Vincent Martin a little bit, like your voice.
Nah, I don't think
I
Oh,
have
so.
come
no
on,
idea.
dude. You don't tell me you don't hear it.
No.
Shut up, man. I hear it. I 100% hear it. I hear
No one
the
has
discount
Vincent's
yell.
voice.
I hear the discount yell flash in there.
Oh, you're wait, Yellow Flash?
Because
No, that's
because Vincent Martin and I like it's like one of our friends that comes here every now and then. I kind of like took a dig at him like to joke, saying that he kind of like sounds like Yellow Flash with his voice, like how he talks and just overall the sound of his voice. And I'm basically saying he kind of sound like him as well to some extent.
oh, that's funny. Okay. I get it.
Opera browser has.
Yeah, no, I've never had that comparison to my voice before. You want to know the funniest thing
Hold on.
about
Sorry, hold on
the
one second.
funniest thing about yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Opera. Your buddy Nova. Opera browser has a touch grass widget that puts a
That's
grass on your browser.
fucking
I'm switching to Opera now.
Like, are you actually watching his stream or is he like in the chat?
He's in Twitch chat.
Oh, okay, he's in Twitch chat.
Melon's actually Knox's wife. Yeah. They're actually friends of mine. When I told them I was going to be having this conversation with you guys. Yep. When I told them I was going to be having this conversation with you guys, they actually wanted to just watch and see how it went down. I mean, I told them I wasn't going into this like it was a debate. I was going into this like it was a discussion, which is kind of what we're having here with some disagreements here and there, which I expected, you know, but for all of what we've talked about, it doesn't seem like we're too far off from a generalized opinion on this. There are very specific aspects we don't agree on.
Yeah, obviously, like anything else. But hey, it's like when you stop listening to like the whole like pick a side culture war type of bullshit, like the algorithm on Twitter tends to feed us, and you actually sit down with people and you aren't just shit talking them and insulting them. It's like, yeah, eventually we can kind of come to a point to a certain like understanding, even though we disagree on certain things, and sometimes we end up being more so on the same page than we actually thought.
I think most people on the internet are going to be more hyperbolic and shit posting anyway. So once
Yeah,
you get
basically.
people
But,
together in the same
but every now
room,
and
it's-
then you will get people that don't want to actually engage
Yeah.
in actual good faith. Like,
Oh
I'll
no,
be
I'm an
honest.
absolute piece of shit on fucking X. I'm not
I mean,
going to
same
lie.
here.
Me too.
I
I mean, same
if
here.
if I get to a point in a discussion, because I'll start trying with good faith if they haven't already like flip the switch, and if they start giving me bullshit, that's when I stop caring.
I mean,
And I was on that point with you from the very beginning, strictly because of the first instance of you that I saw was some of the things you said to Leaf, which admittedly, I was just like, all right, gloves off. It's time to go. Like the first moment.
when it comes to Leaf as well, here's the thing with Leaf. Leaf is fucking bad faith. She doesn't actually care to engage with people in good faith. Like
Leaflet?
that's my Leaflet. She has no fucking interest in that. And when you actually do challenge her, she tries and actually, because I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm not sure if you've watched her debate with Nyara. Like,
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and I watched bits and pieces, but I'm sorry, but Leaflet got fucking absolutely fucking bodied in that debate. And then she tries to pass it. And she tries to pass it off. Like, actually, no, not really. She didn't get that bodied. Nair was the one who was wrong. Like,
that's one of the things where I won't agree. I watched the entire debate live. I don't think either of them did a particularly good job, but at that time, Leaf even admitted she's one, not used to debating and was not very good at it, and then two, at some point she stopped taking it seriously, which I wouldn't do. I think, in my opinion, I think you should take the debate seriously the whole way through.
She stopped taking it seriously and basically just gave Nyara like a win to some extent. Like, here's the thing with Nyara, because I used to be somewhat on good terms in speaking terms of her, but my issue with Nyara is that she is such a fucking turbo lefty that she has a bad tendency of woke scolding people and going after people and making enemies out of people that would actually agree with her or want to, listen to her message to some extent. Like, she's a woke scolding type of individual, and she gets pretty pissy when you do shit that she deems unwoke or whatever. That's my issue with Nyara.
I saw that too. Like the first instance of Nyara that I saw, I immediately blocked her. I didn't want anything to do with that. But I saw that during the debate as well. But I also saw an unwillingness to like actually listen or hear Leaf out on some of her points, which to be fair, sometimes Leaf did that vice versa, but not nearly as much as Nyara. And then I think what happened was Leaf got so tired of trying to make a point and not being taken seriously or not being listened to that she just checked out.
Again, some of the points she was making were also kind of like lame as well. Like the whole the Iogo like point that she made at some point, like comparing like trans people like to the someone wearing like a shirt with the Ohio face or whatever it's called. Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck is that type of, like, argument you're trying to make?
I didn't... How do I put this? I did not know where that was supposed to lead.
Like, I didn't know. That's what I was saying as well, because basically you're trying to compare, like, the existence of trans people, like, to fucking hentai. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, from what I understand in the general space, for people who are anti-trans, let's say, like wholesale, let's go the most extreme is that it's a very niche thing for actual people to be trans, as in they have the dysphoria that causes like gender dysphoria, right? They view those people as being legitimate, and then everyone else outside of not having that are not legitimate to them because they don't have that dysphoria, they just are a part of the ideology, and the ideology is what they have a problem with. To an extent, I do as well, but I'm not so extreme to the right that I don't think they shouldn't exist. I think there are parts of it that I'm not comfortable with, but they're an adult is allowed to exist in any way that they want to within the confines of the law. Is my opinion on the whole trans thing. That if an adult believes or is not comfortable in their skin, and that requires gender affirming care, then I believe wholeheartedly they should be allowed to pursue that.
So I already know where this is kind of going to go. You're going to start bringing up the whole minor stuff into this at some point.
No, it sounds like you got to win. It sounds like he said trans people are valid.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious because I'm like he's putting a lot of emphasis on it.
I will say yes. I will get into it that minors should that should not include minors to a degree. To a degree, there is a measurement of this. I don't think wholesale minors shouldn't be able to make the distinction there, because when you're 15, 16, 17 years old, at that point you have formed your id, your personality, yourself. You should know by this point what you are, who you are. But I'm talking about people who are children who are 13, 12, 11, going down that line. Okay, but that's where I get iffy.
Yeah, and again, that whole part, that's the whole thing. That's not what the trans community actually argues for because
I'm gonna have to
rarely.
Yeah,
but
I'm
whatever.
gonna have to cut this off because we've done the whole AI debate and it's 12:30.
Yeah,
I don't need another 3 hours of us doing the trans debate. We can set that up.
Yeah, well, we're not going to do that. I will. I will say one thing.
Were you actually watching my thing on the palatable dissident or the consensus mob? Because I would actually put Leaflet into that category as well.
Yeah, I was watching. So I watched half of it last stream on Wednesday with Jan, and then I was watching the rest of it. It was right at the end, so I didn't finish like the last maybe like 5 minutes or so.
What was that about?
It's about manufactured dissonance. You said something. It wasn't manufactured. It was something else dissonance.
It's managed dissent. It's basically
dissent, that's what it was.
So my theory is on YouTube that anybody who's a quote right winger or I guess a chud is necessarily. I mean, it's not everybody, but most of the popular channels who are associated with that are actually. I would say they're more Obama era liberal types, and what they do is they rely on, they kind of carve out a position on YouTube by using what I call or what I refer to as male brain traits. These include like pattern recognition. These include like objective analysis or abstract analysis, and they some of them are edgier. They're unapologetic in their takes. But my theory is once they kind of get settled in on YouTube and they get a big following, they start courting elements of the left or people who are left leaning or who are more moderate, and they basically start to talk about how everything I believed in with the right winger stuff or my Eddie stuff, I don't actually believe that,
and that's also something that happens vice versa as well.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting if it happens vice versa, because what this is actually going from a male brain pattern space to a female brain pattern space, where a female brain space is basically we now have parasocial bonds. We're now invested in our audience, and we're also incentivized to kind of continue what we're doing based on the platform. So that's where people say, hey, you've changed. And it's like, well, I don't think they've changed. I think they were that way the whole time. They just they got to a place where it's like, we're all discussing these things, but now we have to work together. It's like when a bunch of guys are kind of in one male space and they're all kind of getting together and having a good time. And then a woman enters and it's like, oh, guys, language, drop your language, like that kind of thing, where your mom.
You want to know? My apologies. You want to know the funniest thing about that when you said with Leaf It was actually, so Leaf has been on record saying this. She actually started out when she was VTubing, toting the line and being super fucking passive about what she believes in when she started out, because she thought, in her opinion, she thought that's what the proper thing was. So she kind of hid her power level until eventually, through being told, I believe she said that she was told by a friend, why are you holding yourself back from your actual opinions? Just say what the fuck you want. And if your audience stays, then they stay. If they go, then they go. So Leaf was like, all right, let's rip it. And started saying what she actually believes in. And that's where we have the current iteration of Leaflet.
Okay, and again, you also have to remember, like, at some point, like, people tend to like filter all the time as well. But here, let's be honest too.
That's
some of
what
the
I
shit
used to do.
Leaflets, yeah, some of the shit Leaflet says tends to be pretty fucking unhinged.
Well,
Like, I'm not gonna
but
lie.
well, see, but it's safe unhinged. I would say it's like a safe edgy, which is like what a lot of chuds do. And the reason they do this is because
They know they can't get away with being too edgy.
Well, it's a creation of their own little echo
Yeah.
chambers, their own little safe spaces online, which is funny because that's what they criticize leftists of doing.
You can almost say that they're trying
and that's actually one thing I actually wanted like to kind of like touch upon with Soul here. That's also another thing that kind of bugs me with Leaflet. Like the only time you actually see her talk to people, like in actual streams or in conversations live, is with other people that she actually agrees with. That's something that royally pisses me off. And the only time I've ever seen her debate someone of a different mindset was Nyara.
Well,
because every time
she did
you're
debate
talking with people,
some-
she's either talking with people like side scrollers, which fuck Craig and fuck Blabs at this point. They're both goddamn like retards. And again, the people on side scrollers, the guests that they bring on, like Rev, like Kershey, and again, these guys are all in the same goddamn group. They're all in the same goddamn echo chamber, and they all leech off the same like type of audience. Like their audience
See,
is
these are
basically the
all
same
people
one.
I like. This is so fucking funny to hear.
Yeah.
But no, so when it comes to Leaf, at least Leaf did do another. I think she did like 2 other debates. Aside from that, the thing that happened with Leaf though is that there was a situation, because Leaf is loosely associated with Nux. There was a situation.
We know. I think we know that situation. The one where the whole Discord thing.
That situation.
Yeah, we all know that. We all know that.
That situation fucked Leaf up so much that she. How do I put this? I don't want to speak for her, but the way that she describes it is, it broke like what little bit of like self-restraint she had.
Yeah, but again, her whole Discord was having actual minors in it and the whole grooming shit stuff. Not grooming, but like actual like channels that were not safe for minors, and you had a bunch of other stuff going on there. Like, I know you don't like harmful opinions, but him and Nick Andros actually made some very good point regarding that whole situation.
We will be here for another 2 fucking hours if I get into a conversation about those 2 motherfuckers. Okay. I'm gonna calm down.
You know what? We can have you on another time to talk about it if you want.
You know what? Absolutely. Because the crazy thing is, I should be on hiatus because my PC fucked up. I just got a new PC. I was just going to take it easy, going to ease back into it eventually. Nick Kandros made that dog shit Nux video, and because no, the reason I say it's dog shit is very specific points. Nicandros made some good points, but he immediately makes everything else in that video fucking pointless with some of the stupid shit that he decides to say in it, which made me mad. I said as such, he he went at my neck about it, and and was like, "Why don't you watch the video, bro? You don't know what you're talking about." So I did a 3.5 hour fucking stream when I was supposed to be on hiatus, taking it easy, dismantling the whole fucking video, and came to one conclusion. Two conclusions. You wasted my fucking time, and I'm getting heated. And it's two retards fighting. That's where I ended up being at. And I'm like, you made some good points, but you immediately make those good points pointless because of your pearl clutching about certain things, and Nux does it too. And Nux is an idiot because he didn't have the wherewithal to moderate his Discord properly, which is true. But you can't sit here and say that Nux was actively letting this happen to such a degree that he should be considered guilty or explicit in the same actions. That's not how this works.
That's the thing. He never said that. Okay, so I'm just going to like make it real quick. He never said that Nux was actually involved in those actions, that he was explicit in those.
He was
his inactivity.
No, I'm saying the way that he laid out his arguments was, it's like, what I had to do here is like, he's not explicitly saying this, but he's hinting that this is how he thinks is the problem. And then the pearl clutching thing is, in my opinion, what really set me off. I'm like, none of this matters. What is the portion about Nux that is super bad? I don't care about the lolly thing. It's stupid. I don't care about the content he used to make. It's stupid.
You know what?
What I care about,
Soliance, I think there's a perfect saying for what you're talking about here. Have you ever heard of a POSI-WID?
No, actually.
British management called Stafford Beer. It's this is a saying that goes, but they basically said any system you have, an institution, a tool, organization, doesn't matter what it is. So let's take Nux, Talk, or Leaflet. Basically, the purpose of a system is what it does. That's what it is. So if you look at the actual outcome, this is why I look at most of what these YouTubers like Nux do as entirely performative. Is you just have to ask yourself, what do they do? What have they actually achieved? So you're talking about this stuff where the Discord and him not like moderating it, and so what is actually being achieved there? What is the actual outcome? So all the stated goals, intentions that people always tell me, I always brush them aside. I say, what is actually being accomplished? And I think that's what's being accomplished. That's why I don't trust any of these people. I think it's all performative antics. I don't think they're right wingers, left wingers. I don't think anybody does. I think they're just really in it for the money. And what are they using that money for? I think they're courting basically the elements, like basically like what we're talking about now. It's like I've got free time, I got money. What am I going to do? I'm going to start grooming somebody online. I think that's what they're doing.
I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, again.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, that was kind of a dumb.
Right.
Like that was
I
kind
don't
of
think he means it that way. All right. So
yeah, but
I'm gonna. We should set up another one to talk about this situation. I think it would be fun. But I'm gonna have to call it now because I'm 42. I gotta get to sleep. I got some birthday parties to go to tomorrow.
Okay, dude, old man, go to bed. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Go to bed. Old
I didn't know how to put it best without like I'm on YouTube. I can't like get really egregious about
I get
no,
it,
because like this is actually something that would be very interesting to talk about if we're going to start talking about like drama tubers. Because here's the thing, like you said, all the people that I mentioned, you all like, and all the people that I said that I have kind of like some that I like, I don't always agree with them. Because here's the thing with like Nick Andros and Harmful Opinion, I don't agree with their lolly takes either. That's like the only shit that me, Rev, and Shibi are on the same page about.
He actually hated Nick Andros.
Okay, so we're all on this.
Yeah, at the start, I kind of hated Nick. Well, no, I wouldn't say hate. I was indifferent.
I would.
But then the whole Noah stuff happened. I was like, kind of like, maybe not so much.
Nick, so.
But then Noah outed himself as a complete piece of shit. So it's like, yeah, no, fuck that.
My problem with Nick was that situation. I told him my honest, like I did, but you could still find the tweet. I gave him a breakdown of how I honestly felt about his video. He got butthurt about it, said I was sweeping for Nux, which I was not. I don't even care about Nux's content. I used to watch him when he talked about anime and stuff. Now he's like a religious zealot, which I'm not.
Well, he's
I don't
changed
want
that.
to deal with that.
I mean, so
It's
is
all
Rev at this
performative.
point. So is
It's
Rev.
all it's all
Rev is
performative. They don't.
Rev is
yeah,
a
they don't-
fucking fake ass Christian on his part.
Well, see, the thing about Rev is he's not putting it in all of his videos and shoving it down your throat. Fucking Nux
No,
is.
he's not.
That
Yeah,
irritates
you're
me.
like, and again, here's the thing with Rev. What's worse with Rev is that he's trying to play it both sides. He's trying to say, I'm a Christian, but I'm also a lolly bro, which I hate to break it to you, man, but those two things don't go hand in hand. They don't mix. Go in any fucking church, tell them you're a fucking lolicon, and they'll turn around and tell you, get the fuck out, you fucking pedophile.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll
like,
end it there.
I don't know.
We'll
I'm
end it
not-
there. We'll end it
Yep.
there.
Yeah, we'll end it.
Because
We'll
otherwise,
end
y'all
it
are gonna
there
keep
because
dragging me
this
on
could
because
be.
I want to hear this
Yeah.
conversation. I'm hyper focused. My ADHD is on fire. So I got to call it. Thank you, Soul,
All right,
for coming
all
by. I appreciate
Yeah,
you
and-
coming
yeah, no
into
problem.
the pit against people who have a differing opinion than you. I think it was a lot of fun. Simon, as always,
That's
and you,
kind
Dan,
of
thank you for coming on.
what I'm always into.
Yeah, hey, feel free to come on anytime. I am more than willing to bring people on stream during any subject that I'm talking about and talk about it with them. So that's just kind of my thing. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me. But we're going to go ahead and end it here, guys. If you haven't already, it's time to the end of the stream shill. End of the stream shill. I just got to 200 yesterday. Hit my goal for my first goal for the year. Now we're rushing to 500. If you haven't liked the
My real
stream, like the
passion is
stream
my
to
hobby.
push me in the
Really? What's that?
algorithm. Thank you.
I work with retards.
Thank you so much, Soul.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, if you
My
like
real
it,
passion is my
subscribe.
Really? What's
Melanova,
that?
awesome.
I work with retards.
But if y'all want to, I stream. What did you just say, Jasmine? Tell your girlfriend I'm
She
about
told
to
you?
ban her from
Yeah.
my chat. But yeah,
Babe, chill, Bill. Babe, chill. Only I get to call the pigman Unk.
yeah. So I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm not even sure what subject we're gonna do tomorrow, but we'll figure it out. Thank you all for coming by. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.